Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games. I've looked into every possible timeline, and this is the only one with 3 Mortal Kombat 1s.
I doubt that.
Chris Wolfhard.
Yahaha, you found me!
And Dr. Aggro.
You son of a bitch, that was my bit.
I knew it!
I actually dropped a rock on both their heads.
Oh, I do that every single time one's under a rock.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Big Think Dimension number 222. We've got some interesting news to talk about this week. And
There's a lot of horrors.
It's nice to have a busy news week again, right?
I mean,
no.
We kind of paired that perfectly with the week where, like, video game wise, our Friday stream is not much to talk about.
No.
That's not even to say it wasn't a fun stream. It was a really fun stream. It's just, we opened with Mega Man X4. This is where you say, "Hey Dan, how was Mega Man X4?" And I go, "Oh, it's crack. It's very good. It's good. It's great."
Did you like playing one of the best Mega Man X games?
Yes, and I actually liked the part where being forced to play Zero by the audience, specifically Spiff, who's a big Zero fan. I am now just like, wait, this game's easy as Zero. Why did I avoid playing as Zero this entire time?
I've always been confused by your thought that it was harder as
if
him.
I'm near an enemy that can hit me, that makes it harder.
You have double jumps, though.
Yeah, but like, I don't want to get near them. Like, look at Frost Walrus. He's the epitome of why Zero sucks to deal with. Because it's just like his weakness is you being on his nipples, punching his face, and trying to not land on him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not easy.
No, but you have a double jump.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
I remember General really sucking as Zero.
Yeah, he can for sure, because you got to ride that fist in, so you're abusing the R2 attack to
fist in.
frame your way to his face.
Yeah, that does suck.
But yeah, Colonel's a joke with the double jump. It's so hilarious. It's really fun. In Mega Man X4, it's a fun game. I would love to play it again soon. This would be my 20th time at least of beating that video game. See, you beat something like Mega Man X4 20 times, everyone's like, whatever, that's a pretty short game. You say that about Mario 64, and they're like, you're a little deranged, aren't you? Huh.
Now, here's the question. Can Dan beat not Mario 64 in the same amount of time it would take him to beat Mega Man X4?
Do I get to clip through anything?
Yeah, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Who am I playing as, Zero or Mega Man?
You can do whatever the hell you want.
Well, see, that's unfair because I'll just play as Zero or as X, get the ultimate armor, and then the ending will be cake, and there's no way my Mario 64 run will catch up.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could even do the cheat code and just have the ultimate armor at the start.
Yeah, that's true. And then it's really cake because I'm just hitting R2 through the entire level. I'm just being an airborne craft at that point, just sonic booming through everything. Mega Man X4, it's really good. Also, last Thursday after Big Think and on Friday, we played Dokapon Kingdom Connect. On Thursday, we played it with Aggro and Chris. Which means they're fully entitled to join in for this segment.
Vile game, revolting, made by subhumans.
Yes.
It is a little edged in how calmly pernicious it is. It's not like Mario Party where you're trapped in a Saw game. This is we were all having lunch when somebody just walked by and put a hunting knife on the table and then just looked at you until you did something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even get to the part where Satan shows up and it's like, hey, do you want to make the world pay for what they did to you?
And since Bob, wasn't the sign already up that's like, hey, this guy's in third, Satan's gonna ask him to sell his soul any second now. That's when you chose to steal the progress item from me. So the answer was yes, clearly.
Look, Dan just persecuted me for my class.
Bob robbed me and Eric 5 times in the first like 6 turns.
Half of those were accidental.
That doesn't matter. If I accidentally keep running over your dog, I'm still running over your dog. And as John Wick knows, there is a price for that. And it's 4 movies in a row full of killing. So given that that's the case, you kind of got off easy.
I don't know. After you crashed the entire world economy around me.
I'm a market disruptor. I don't understand why you hate innovators so much, Bob.
And really, I think Eric ended up winning because you ignored him the whole time you were a demon.
Well, the game isn't over yet. The game's still afoot. Besides,
Yeah, story mode takes a long fucking time. You get up to like level 80.
Jesus.
Also, maybe you would have cat speed with Eric if you stopped fucking off to a cave to die over and over. He wasn't even conveniently located cave. You had to go all the way to the North Pole, basically, to go into a cave and get murdered like twice in a row.
Yes, but it was like the only... Because I had lost everything already.
I've lost everything.
So I didn't have much choice.
Yeah.
It was like, this is the only thing I could possibly do to catch up because all the territories were already taken. And I couldn't take them back.
I mean, you could. And then you get experience.
No, you can't take towns back unless there's some special event.
You can take a town if you beat somebody in a duel.
Well, like, at that point in the game, I was the demon. And I was just dropping monsters on the town. You could have killed them at any point in time, taken them back, and gotten experience.
Most of that was Eric had already run around and got all of them.
No, there were still plenty sitting until I turned back to human and got them myself. So that
Dan,
happened.
the whole time you were the demon, I couldn't do anything because you were on top of me.
You had an escape battle button. I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy.
That just meant I could avoid a fight with you. It didn't mean I could do anything else.
No, because you would avoid the fight on my turn, and then your next turn you could have gone and fought the towns. It would have been the same thing, only instead of running into a cave, you would have run to a town that had a monster on it.
Maybe.
There were options. Yeah, anyway, Dokapon, it brought up this conversation, so... Monopoly wasn't evil enough.
I guess.
We enhanced it. Dokapon's neat, though. I did not expect that level of, no, it's a full-ass RPG, fuck you. Underneath, I genuinely thought it would just be the trappings. And none of the, like, well, yeah, this continent has weaker equipment than this continent, and it locks based on story progress, and then you have all these different levels of monsters, and then it randomly rolls for what shows up. Like,
That genuinely would made that game so horrifying as an engine of sin, because they're like, this isn't a party game where you play it and go, oh, I hate you, and then you're still friends. What video game takes the most emotional investment in your progress? Let's have that be backstabbable.
We made a driving sim. Someone could come in and steal parts off of your car.
It drove me crazy to find out later. After I went to the ocean and got attacked by a killer fish in the first game we played.
Yeah.
It was like level 3 or 4.
And it was like week 2, 3. It was so early.
It was insanely early in the game.
He got jumped by the strongest enemy in the ocean.
And then I never again did we see anything level of strength in the ocean. Yeah, it's like, I should have been able. It should have been fine that I went that way. Instead, it's just like you died instantly because whatever the game decided this time.
Yeah, I genuinely didn't trust the ocean ever again because of you getting jumped by the killer fish.
Dokapon Kingdom is an RPG, but it's one of the old ones where it's like, no, you better take a risk or else you're going to be in last place instantly. You better hope you can strike this boss on this town and he doesn't counter you, because you're not getting a town another way.
You want to talk about a guy who's lucking upward. Let's talk about Eric, okay? Even aside from the demon shit.
Right, like
Eric
all that nonsense.
Eric chose a wizard. And that second continent is weak to wizards.
It is.
Like, if you look at their stats, they fold.
Also, unlike Chris and Aggro, the very first spell Eric got was an attack spell. immediately, like turn one.
Turn one, the first roll, he lands on a square and he gets a combat spell. And I'm like, Chris and Aggro would gut you right now if they could. I heard from chat members after the fact that later in the game, there's some stuff that's very hard for wizards to deal with.
That's good.
And I'm like, that makes me feel a little bit better because as every new enemy popped up on the second continent, I'm like, wait a minute, you're all weak to magic. What the fuck is this about? It's like the second continent is like, you chose the wrong class. But I really enjoyed Dokapon. I would love to play some more, but then Tears of the Kingdom came out, so I guess that game doesn't exist anymore.
Right. It's unfortunate.
I downloaded and installed Humanity.
Okay, cool.
I didn't boot it.
Of course not. Why would you do that?
Tears of the Kingdom is out. Did anyone else have anything else they wanted to say about Dokapon Kingdom?
I'm good.
Okay.
If you missed our stream last week, a doctor randomly showed up when I rolled and charged me $15,000, but I didn't have $15,000, so he took all my money and put me $12,000 in debt. Luckily, I later met a thief, which is a 6-year-old wearing a teddy bear onesie, and she said, "We're gonna play rock paper scissors, and if you lose, I'm gonna rob you." And I lost, and then she said, "Man, you don't have any money. I guess I'll take away your debt."
Yeah.
So at least I had that going for me.
See, Tosh didn't have that luck. She just got robbed by the doctor and was like, this game's evil. And I'm like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, the doctor didn't show up on our playthrough with Eric, so yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
But we did see a lot of other dudes.
We just saw Roche nonstop. The Rochambeau child.
Rochambeau a lot, but oh my God. Eric also lucked out insanely by getting 2 different villagers come up to him and be like, I want to give you $1 million, basically. Yeah. All you do is walk to this town.
Didn't he also...
The third time it happened, he's like, oh, I'm so tired of this. And I'm just like, Eric hates women.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we started talking. Is it because she's a woman, Eric? Is that why you won't take her important item to this town that desperately needs it for millions of dollars? Also, there was the fact, if I remember this correctly, when he came across the homeless person who was begging for money, he paid them the money. And then it was a goddess who like granted him a thing. And then you did the same thing and it was just a homeless person who ran off with the money or whatever.
Oh my God, that's fucked.
I can't
just do that.
I got the goddess twice and then the stolen money once.
That was really good. I was like, what the fuck? Thanks for your 1,500 gold. Bye. It's not a lazy amount of sadism that's engineered into this game.
No.
That much is certain.
It feels like there's always something new it can do, and you will hate it for.
Yeah. Yeah, selling my soul. Pretty cool. Tastes great. We're good, though. We can move on. I basically spent every day since then doing one of 3 things. Well, let's just say 4. So that way we can literally include everything. Sleep, diet, exercise, Tears of the Kingdom. That's it. The exercise stuff's all VR games, so I can at least talk about that. Yo, Pistol Whip still whips. Mort 11.
Cool.
I don't know what else to tell you, people. That thing's cool as fucking shit. It's really good exercise and really fucking awesome. For people who missed the description last week, I will briefly cover it. It is basically an auto-scroller forward, so you feel like you're sliding through the stage, and you're constantly getting jumped by agents to the beat of a really poppin' song. By default, the game comes with 10 different songs. The entire levels are scripted to that, so agents will jump out and shoot at you to that. And you can carry a number of different weapons into it. I haven't really experimented all that much on that front. I just stick to dual pistols. It has really cool adaptive triggers. It's got really great haptic feedback in both the controllers and the headset when the bullets whiz by. The 3D audio is great. Really fucking great experience. Highly recommended. But after so many days of Pistol Whip, I'm like, maybe I should get some other form of exercise other than panicked dodging bullets. Though very effective, one might say that's not working out the whole body. So I got Les Mills, I think. I don't know how it's pronounced. Body Combat, which is a fitness VR game where they did a really good job of just having me in what appears to be like that Unreal Engine iPhone game, like that environment almost, like giant stone structures and like pillars and stuff, and it looks like Celtic old-timey or something. And then a person who's in modern fitness gear, just the video of them directly in front of you. Yeah, Infinity Blade. Directly in front of you, just being like, what's up? We're going to teach you how to do some boxing, some jabs and stuff. You're going to roll your shoulder into these punches, bro. You're going to take this stance, make sure it's wide, point your toes outward. You're going to need to squat under these barriers. And I was like, this is pretty cool. And then I chose like the 14-minute regimen once I got out of the tutorial. That was like upper body exercise. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Yeah, let's do that. My legs are killing me. And then it's like, guess what, bitch, still has squats. And I'm like, no, you betrayed me. So I can only imagine what the fucking neighbors thought was going on as I'm yelling at the fucking... I'm like, you betrayed me. You said there weren't squats. They can't hear anything. That thing also uses music, and it does do all the jabs and uppercuts and straights and crosses to the beat exactly. Mm-hmm. But something that's funny about it is that it has, like, if you've ever heard of those, God, I wish I could remember any of the names of these programs, but it's sort of like the teleconference fitness guru sort of thing where he's like talking you through stuff, pre-recorded videotapes like back in the 90s or aughts, like the modern equivalent of that. But now it's trapped in VR. So they're just sitting there constantly being like, make sure to roll your shoulder. Oh, yeah, you feeling it? Punch to the beat. Make sure to get a lot of strength in there. Loose elbow, okay? Don't make that elbow stiff. And it's just nonstop for 14 minutes doing this. And I'm like, man, this is a lot. I don't want to hear from you right now. You lied. You said this was upper body, and now I'm doing squats. I'm so mad at you. And the moment I had that thought, they're like, okay, I'm going to let you do this for a bit. And then they stopped talking finally. And I'm like, good. Fuck you. How dare you lie to me like this? That was pretty cool. It gives you extra points for how hard you hit, which I think is an important aspect of this, because if it's just giving you contact points for hitting the target at all,
right, then it could just be like flailing.
Right. But it actually does check velocity. And I know it's pretty strict on it because my left arm started going out and stopped hitting hard enough to get the extra points, which are very visually interesting because the things that are flying at you, they give you a very clear idea of the direction it wants you to hit because it almost looks like a shock absorber, and then the pad, and then rings of holograms on the front. And when you do that harder hit, it explodes out bigger rings. So it's very visual. And it telling you, hey, you did a strong hit. Good job. So as I see my right arm's keeping it up and my left, I haven't seen a ring in a minute. I'm just like, let's just get through. Come on, man. But yeah, this is pretty cool. That was pretty neat. There are a lot of PSVR 2 games, and I kind of looked at the whole page again and started like panicking because I'm like, there are so many great games here, and I don't have the money for this.
Right.
The headset was $500, and we spent a decent investment near launch to cover a wider array of things. So when looking at the whole library of what was available, I could either get Creed, which I hear sucks, which is unfortunate because I hear the movies are good.
Right.
Or I could get this. So I got this, and it was good. Thank God. Because it was like $22. I think it was on sale because of PlayStation Plus. That was a great time. Okay. I'm done talking about that. Hey, Bob.
What's up?
You want to talk about things that aren't Tears of the Kingdom that you've been playing?
Sure. There's only one other thing.
Okay, what have you been playing that's not Tears of the Kingdom?
It was Hawken.
Oh, God!
Oh, yeah. I heard they, like, the first one got fucked by hackers or something, and they just remade it.
I don't know if that's what happened with the first one. Maybe you're thinking of Titanfall. Because Titanfall got fucked by hackers.
Playing Hawken Reborn?
Yes. Bob and I played about 43 minutes, unless you went back to it.
No, of course not. Absolutely not.
43 minutes of Hawken Reborn.
Oh, this sure is not Hawken original.
No, it's Reborn.
Yeah, it's Reborn.
So Hawken Reborn is a free-to-play game. The original Hawken was very multiplayer centric.
Yeah, it was a PvP game.
Yeah,
for sure.
It was like, what some of the I can't remember what specific mech games that were like Western developed had more of a multiplayer focus, but it's like that. It is teams of 3v3, 4v4. Mechs, team of mechs versus team of mechs.
Right.
Hawken Reborn, we didn't get to multiplayer. It is a soulless Destiny-like, and I'm not exaggerating. That sounds like I'm exaggerating. It is a soulless Destiny-like that literally describes all of the content as story missions or patrol missions. They advertise the game as having this amazing open world. It's just a really big level for you to wander around and do the like bottom tier Destiny content in.
Yeah, it's like fight these waves.
Scan these 3 objects. Oh no, waves of enemy soldiers. And this already sounds not great, okay? This already sounds not incredible. So there are microtransactions because it's free to play, and it literally sounds pay to win, and you may need a currency that costs money eventually to repair high-end equipment. Who knows?
Literally, the Steam reviews, is the moment this went up, is just mostly negative.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find a single positive review on there. It was everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone yelling at them.
So we've talked about the things about this content and structure that are unappealing, but let's talk about the core that's unappealing to me, at least. Moving your mouse to aim feels awful. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, somehow they got that completely wrong, and if you don't move your mouse insanely slow, it just looks horrible and feels bad.
Yeah, it's like...
How?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know of any shooter, no matter how old, that feels this wrong when you aim.
It's because it's a giant mech game, so they want to have the big HUD that's like the mech.
Yeah, you're in the mech.
But they don't properly, move that along with your cursor. It just doesn't match up right.
But it also feels like the cursor skips pixels. Like there's a thing where in PCs you can tell it your mouse sensitivity and you can tell it the game you're playing, and then it'll tell you the exact settings to tune it so that way it never skips pixels, right?
Okay.
There was no sensitivity I could set it to. There's nothing I could do to make this thing not feel like it was just skipping tens of degrees at a time. It just felt awful. It looked terrible. And there's no way to even slightly zoom down that we could find to get a better look at what's down the scope in a mech, which just feels weird.
It's actually weird because a lot of the stuff you're fighting isn't mechs.
It's tiny people.
Yeah, it's tiny little people that are walking around the ground, which
yeah.
Come on.
They even make a joke where they're like, it's not going to take that many shots to take this guy down. It's just a dude. And then he took 2 bullets. And I just sat there going, how? One of my bullets should be approximately the size of a car.
Right.
I don't. It's like that fucking movie Red Letter Media reviewed, and that Best of the Worst, where there's the car crash and then the guy just gets out like it was fine. Dude drives off a cliff, lands in rocks, and then the next scene is him just coming up on the shore like that didn't kill him. Like that's what that guy would have experienced as I lodged a bullet into his abdomen, and then he was like, I'm not dead yet. I'm gonna still shoot you with this rocket launcher. Terrible game. Horrible.
Also weird, motion comic cutscenes that look AI generated.
So to explain that, because we need to really dig into this, not only do the character drawings look AI generated, they are then animated in a way that almost looks like VTuber-esque AI animated almost, where you get that slight dimensionality to their face. So their teeth are sliding sideways in their mouth almost as it tries to make it look like they have depth and stuff. When we were playing it, I was like, man, these cutscenes look better than Redfall at first. And then it got a little bit too much of that. This character's face doesn't match with anything they're saying. They would change their mood and it would make no sense with what they're saying because they just had it generate a number of faces for that person.
Yeah,
It's so weird.
The first doctor lady you see, it looks like her hand is a real picture of a hand holding a clipboard, and then her face is like weirdly drawn. This mismatch of art styles is not working, which is why I think it's probably AI generated.
Right. Yeah. Her face looks like it's trying to look like Kerrigan, not infested Kerrigan, like an almost StarCraft Ghost art style, only 2D. And then her hand's just a human ass hand. It is a lot to deal with this game. I was really optimistic coming in because as people may know, I'm a big fan of free-to-play games that are multiplayer-oriented that are maybe not great. I enjoyed that Ghost in the Shell's multiplayer shooter enough to play it multiple different nights.
Yeah, I think that was better than that Gundam game they released.
I agree, too. I think that Ghost in the Shell game was better than that Gundam game they released. But, of course, both of those tower over Hawken Reborn. Of
course.
It's not even close. Yeah, I have nothing positive to say about Hawken Reborn. When they first showed off Hawken like 10 years ago, it looked amazing visually. And this doesn't even have that anymore. Because it just looks like 10 years ago, but then the environments aren't impressive at all.
Yeah, the weird part is this one open world they have made does not match the art style, which I feel like Hawken was known for. Like a weird dark with green lighting cyber city.
Right.
That you're jumping around as these mechs. Instead, it's a desolate field that's a junkyard.
Well, we need to explain. This is like really, really Destiny. You're on an alien planet. You know, so there's a lot of Mars inspirations. There's a lot of like, you know, just think of Destiny.
Yeah, it's
like I really don't need to explain it further.
It's like Earth's Destiny, but made on like the shoestring budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else to say other than I expected this to be pretty all right, but that it was really disappointing, and I understand why all the reviews are negative.
Yeah, it's instead of some weird nightmare.
Oh, and all the menus run at 45 frames per second locked.
Yeah, that just seems like a mistake.
And they feel like dog shit. These are two unrelated things, but they're both happening. Because I feel like you could have it run at 45 and feel better than this easily. I've used games with 30 frame per second menus that are better than this. Part of it just feels like they didn't intend you to use a mouse and a keyboard.
Yeah, which is weird because it doesn't support controllers as far as I can tell.
I mean, I didn't even try, but it's only on PC.
Right.
So my PC free-to-play game is designed for controller, which I may or may not support, is a really insane thing. That doesn't make fucking sense.
No, it doesn't.
So anyway, there you go. That's. Did you have anything?
No, that's enough. Hawken Reborn.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Perhaps this Hawken Reborn should have been aborted. No, it's not.
No.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'll try harder. You're like, no, that's kind of the problem, actually. So, Bob, you're out of games that aren't Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Let's go to Chris. Chris, do you have any games to talk about that aren't Tears of the Kingdom?
No.
Yeah.
Literally none. I bought one, but I didn't bother to even boot it.
Yeah, just like I installed Humanity and then went,
I'll
get to you.
Don't worry, Hrot. I'll get to you when I'm done with Tears of the Kingdoms. If you don't know, Hrot came out.
Yeah,
this week, which HROT, the boomer shooter horror game set in like Soviet Russia.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, no, it looks cool.
I also bought downloaded an indie game demo that I was excited for. I don't even remember what it was called anymore, but I'll play it next week or something, maybe.
Man, this is crazy. I can't believe all these fucking members of the Big Thing Convention just downloaded shit and didn't actually play it. What a bunch of fake gamers. Hey, Aggro, did you play anything that wasn't Tears of the Kingdom?
Motherfucker, I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom right now.
I knew it!
We can't stop him.
I was thinking about it. And I'm like, I'm on camera. Well then. Give me one moment to just type this in. And then we're just gonna hit the we're going to talk a little bit about Tears of the Kingdom. Specifically, I believe we agreed before 10 minutes.
Sure.
As a group conversation.
Sure.
Set a timer for 10 minutes. Okay. You want to go first, Bob?
Was this gonna be 10 minutes of what we've done to Koroks?
Oh no.
I'm not as aggressive as you.
I've only gently patted them on the head and then taken them to their friends.
Yeah, Bob, what are you doing?
I try
I've done
and
some
take them
stuff
to their
on
friends.
accident.
I had a moment. It's very early on, so I'm feeling confident that it's okay to talk about this and it not be terribly spoilery. But as you're coming down a thing, one of the first areas in the game, up in the sky, they teach you how to use these various mechanics. Like, oh, hey, you can fuse these hooks to a thing, and that'll help you carry this Korok to that other one. Wouldn't that be neat? And I, in my infinite generosity and kindness, made this really cool boat with hooks going opposite directions, so that way, no matter which way it swung, it would be fine and safe and good. And I put the Korok baby in it. And I'm like, we're going to get to your friend. And I jump in there. We get all the way to the other side. And 1 inch from the end, he falls out into the abyss.
That's your fault, Dan. You can super glue them to that boat.
I was like, I wouldn't want to be super glued to a boat. I will put him inside it. Like I wouldn't respect any sentient life form. And then he's gone. And I talked to his friend. He's like, I miss my friend. I hope he shows up.
Well, on a long enough time frame, the universe ends and restarts, and all the same shit happens. And maybe in that universe, Dan will super glue the baby to the boat.
Yeah.
I just don't think you should super glue babies.
Well, that's clearly incorrect.
Right?
I love the fact that to dislodge something, you have to shake the right stick, like you're just wiggling it as hard as possible.
So good.
Yeah, that's funny as hell.
I appreciate that, but sometimes I get pretty upset with it not working.
Oh yeah, no, it's a liability intentionally.
Yes.
There's no world in which they did this and went, this will never fuck the player. I'm gonna just real quick get this out and then we'll go to Chris. I don't like the opening of this game very much, the first hour and 20 or so. Like, plot-wise, the very opening, very cool. But gameplay-wise, I didn't really enjoy it. It was later when I hit the surface that I was like, this is fucking awesome. And it went up another notch the moment I went into a chasm. That was when it ascended.
Facts.
Yeah. That the opening is weirdly slow. And it feels like a worse version of Breath of the Wild's opening is what I'm
It's like,
I get why you want
a
that
little
big
bit.
island tutorial, but halfway through it, I started to think, is this game just Breath of the Wild again? Are we not going to have the magic? Maybe I shouldn't have expected feeling the magic again. It's just a straight sequel. I finally get out to like the title card out on the end, and I'm like, oh, we are so back.
Yeah.
I also feel like that opening is like 3 times as long as Breath of the Wild's opening, because I feel like Breath of the Wild's opening is like 40 minutes.
Probably.
And this for me took me a little over an hour. Now this is because I'm dying to things.
Right.
You're a pro. You said you died once, maybe.
And yes, I died once doing the proper thing. I remembered later that I actually died several times because they made the, unlike Breath of the Wild's opening, which is just do whichever one. They made a linear pass through this opening.
Yeah, they did.
Which sucks.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, well, I got the first power. I want to go get that other one that's farther off, but it looks cool to get that. It'd be fun to just do that. And it's basically walled off.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah, the opening of this, I don't love it, but once I hit, yeah,
and then they never do that again.
Thank God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What they do, which is what I'm really excited about, is they gently, like, they don't railroad you, but they go, hey, I mean, if you want to do the next thing, it's over there. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but if you want to do the next thing, it's that way.
Yeah, they have a really good way they set up the quest system and everything on this to show you those things and highlight them on the map.
Yeah. I'm going to say the most fringe spoilery thing that I will. when you shoot up in a tower and you get to see the landscape, it's really awesome how you can just see like, here's another tower, here's all this stuff you can see from space, shrines, stuff like that, and then you see the tiers in the distance, and that is just such a cool thing to see from a distance. Like this figure of a sword emblazoned on the ground, and you're just like, what the fuck is that? I need to know. That is awesome. That is so cool. That is between that and the chasm, this has the coolest shit that's happened in a video game this year.
Okay, who you don't have to have gotten it. Who saw where the Master Sword was?
I have not a fucking clue.
No,
I got all
not
the
at
great fairies and towers.
I saw it. I got it. I got it last night because I saw it. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I went over to it and I'm like, oh, that's what this is.
Oh, that's so good. That's the whole game.
I'm excited because I have no idea. Unless there's like, because before it was in the Lost Woods. Now I tried to enter that, but it's just like, no, you can't go in there.
Oh, I've never even tried to enter the Lost Woods. I'm always soaring above everything because I shoot out of a tower. And
yeah, I tried to enter it from space.
Oh,
and even that's like,
a rail cannon got you or something?
It just teleports you out.
Oh.
Yeah,
I haven't even seen the Lost Woods.
You can't get in from the ground and you can't get in from the air.
Mysteries.
It's embarrassing how many for me, it's embarrassing for me how many times I go, where the fuck do I go? There's nothing in this room. Oh, right. I have an ability to shoot straight up.
Yeah, that ability changed the fucking game.
Yes.
It is insane.
Yeah, Ascend is really the linchpin of how awesome this whole game is.
How many years have we been designing video games with like caves and mini dungeons and shit, and trying to figure out how to make it feel authentic without just giving them a back door they couldn't enter through? Designing them as
Skyrim has that
loops
problem
and
bad.
secret doors.
Every single
Not in this cave.
Yeah.
And now you can see further because you're probably higher up.
Yeah, and
you
they
get
make
all these benefits.
They build the puzzles in the game so well around this Ascend ability. I had a stroke when I read, yeah, originally the devs put it in as a cheat code to help them make the game, and then they went, what if this was the game? And I'm like, yes, you're so smart. Meanwhile, you know how many video games try to prevent players from cheating? These motherfuckers had a cheat code and said, wait, this should be the game.
Yeah, it's hard to even imagine this game without that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stone Talos, pain in the ass in the first game. In this game, I just run up to their junk and ascend up through them and beat on their weak point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
I did that, yeah. I did that, and I skydived on top of him and just went, ah!
Oh, my God. I could do that to the construction things, too, I bet.
Yeah.
The cubes?
Yeah, the cubes.
Yeah.
Because they even have
See, I didn't even think of that. There's this one mode it has where it floats up real high and drops cubes down and they roll at you. I'm like, how do I get up there? I guess I'll stand on one and rewind it.
Yes, that's what I did for those.
I only ran into that type of battle, which I thought that was the Stone Talos. I didn't know the name of either. But I only ran into that in the one where they have floating platforms all around the battlefield. So I wouldn't have needed to think of that. I just descended and immediately jumped on his head. I'm like, oh, you think you're clever?
The fact that there's just randomly pieces of falling debris on the ground that you can just hop on and rewind into the air to paraglide into shit is amazing.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
There's never before has there been if you told any developer working on any hardware, do anything in this game, make anything in this game happen, they'd puke and cry and fall onto their knees. I know, because a lot of them have been posting on Twitter, if I had to make this work, I'd puke and cry and fall onto my knees. I've spent 40 hours trying to make something in this game break, and I can't.
Yeah, every time it tells me to do something, I'm like, you can't just let me do that in a video game. You'll destroy yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean you want me to glue these big boards onto these tires that are attached to the sides of a raft to make a fucking battle boat?
And they did all of this on phone hardware from 2015.
Yep.
How? You know, I've changed my mind. I've changed my fucking mind. Tears of the Kingdom might be the only game ever made actually worth $70. People seem to agree because it's already sold 10 million copies.
Yeah, this...
like they took the most contentious thing in one, the weapon durability, and made that entire thing sing. Because
they fixed it.
Yeah, I've never been like out of weapons. Because you're carrying all of the shit with you, all the damage, all the stats. You've got it in the bag. You just need random sticks and shit to put it on.
Right.
It's insane how they just made a game that flosses on Breath of the Wild. It's so fucking hard.
Set a timer for 3 minutes.
We got that list of the best games of all time from, you know, the journalists and the developers the other week that had Breath of the Wild as the top one, and this game just beats the shit out of Breath of the Wild in every conceivable way.
It's not even close.
It's not even close. I was never on the Breath of the Wild as the best Zelda train. I might be getting on the Tears of the Kingdom as the best Zelda train.
There's so much about this that is so patently amazing that it's like, I know this wasn't a thing in Breath, so it's insane how good this is. I really should have beat Breath of the Wild before this came out.
Yeah, going back is not going to be easy.
It's impossible.
I'm probably just gonna speed run it. You know, just go directly mainline.
Yeah, because like I even liked the rest a lot.
Yeah,
but this is just clearly better in every single way, like every conceivable way.
They literally did the thing no one could have reasonably expected them to do. They did a total upset of the formula, a reinvention, and an ascension all twice in a row. How the fuck did they do that?
And not just on the mechanical level. Like in the original Breath of the Wild, I was kind of like, oh, whatever, about the memories, Link's memories you could get, because I'm like, and minor plot spoilers for the 6-year-old game. all these characters are dead. I already know that they fucking failed and got killed by game. In this, I'm getting a really interesting story that I'm excited to see the next parts of, with new characters that have never been in a Zelda before.
Yeah, I liked all those champion characters, but like you said, that you know their fate. Like you don't have any sort of like thing drawing you to keep going.
Yeah.
And the memories, the equivalent to the memories this time are very, very good. Has anybody else done, you know, one of the dungeons?
I've done 3 of the dungeons.
Like the actual named ones?
I've done temples.
One.
The ones where they start, it's like, go check these 4 points.
The temples. Okay.
Yeah.
I've done one.
They brought back dungeon items, sort of. Like they brought back an equivalent to them.
Ooh.
Which is, I'm not gonna say it, but they bring back something that is like dungeon items, which was another thing that I didn't like as much in Breath of the Wild, is that you didn't get anything. You got nothing else in your arsenal after you walked out of the Great Plateau.
Right. Yeah, they definitely gave you something.
We have 40 seconds. Last comments.
I'm glad that bombs are good again, giving you an infinite amount of bombs meant they had to be bad. Now that they're bomb flowers, they're more powerful again, and that feels good.
This game made it canonically weird that Zelda is white.
I'm gonna fuck that goat man's wife.
Bob, your tweet ruined this fucking game for me. Fuck you.
Zonai guys with Hylian wives.
I'm sorry. Every time I saw the statue, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I'm gonna be honest. I also might have thought about that because it's like they're posing. What is? I don't.
I keep thinking of it as the couple from across the bar who come to say they like your vibe.
Yes,
that's the statue.
Bob, closing comments.
There's this Korok that was wanting to get across this tar pit. So I built this thing to launch him across. It was like a fling. He fell like 5 inches short right into the mud, and I was like, I'll just go over there and grab him out of it. And then I walk into the mud and die.
Oh, no, don't give in to the nothing.
Don't give in to the nothing, Bob.
I dove down into a chasm and was like, wow, this is so cinematic and cool. And then the ground was a lot higher than I thought it would be. So I just dove into the ground. I Black Adam dove into the ground at like 1,000 miles an hour and splattered.
Yeah, you know that Frozen mini game in Kingdom Hearts 3 and how it's like, yeah, you sled down a mountain. It's really cool. Bob told me the story of like, yeah, they had this thing set up where it was clear they wanted you to land here and sled. He didn't like soften the blow, so he died when he landed on his shield on the mountaintop.
Yes, the game gaslit me. It had a thing million miles there. It's like, here's the stars of slope. Go down, mountain slide down it. And then I did that and fell a million miles and died instantly.
See, as somebody who didn't play Breath of the Wild, I sat there and went, now, this is really hard to run this fast. Wait, isn't sledding in this game? Why didn't they teach me this? Because there are a few different things. They just don't feel like teaching you at all.
They never teach you that in the first game either.
What?
Yeah, and just like in this one, I think there's a shrine that... wait, either a random person or a shrine that you can run into can tell you.
Well, I ran into the one that taught me dodging and then doing a flurry attack, which would have been nice to know in the hour and 20-minute intro.
Yeah.
But anyway, closing comments. This game's incredible. I'm very excited to talk about it at length in the future. What a good video game. That chasm changed everything.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this game's really good. I'm not in love with the combat, but it's really, really good. Then I hit the chasm and I'm like, oh, baby. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. So, yeah, anyways. Look forward to our Famitsu-like score in the future.
Paid Famitsu.
And that's it for Tears of the Kingdom. There we go. Oh, shit. Wait, that was what everyone played.
Yeah.
Man, that was the shortest What We've Been Playing segment ever because we mandated that we're not talking about Tears of the Kingdom for half an hour.
Yep.
Which we could have so easily have done. I gotta get rid of this spoiler. There we go. Okay. Viewer, you are safe here. You are loved. People care about you. People such as the Podlords. Hey, you know about the Podlords?
Oh, fuck. I didn't know.
I didn't know.
Yeah, the Pod Lords.
Are you going to have to help the Podlord set up a sign, Dan?
Yeah. Yahaha, the Podlords. Yahaha's queen. The Podlord, such as. Whoa, why'd it get tiny? Podlords, you're so small. Here, I'm gonna show that so they can see how small the Podlords got. I figured I would fix that, but I don't know.
Oh, fuck.
It did that in one frame because I looked at the window. We're gonna have tiny Podlords.
Cinematic.
How big are these other images gonna be? One moment. Okay. They seem fine. Maybe we'll just be small. All right. I'm okay with that. Anyways, Podlords such as E. Lee Broyles, BN12. Jin Spencer confirms Mommy GF Mount was rated well internally, so no clue why it failed on release. Red Blaze 27, Suzushiro, Shibuya Gato, Rado, 101 Shades of Wonderful Remastered, WTF Spider-Man, Mr. I Like Spam. Something witty about Overwatch canceling PvE. I don't know. Work has got me pretty exhausted the last couple of weeks. I like that this is just a Podlord self-describing, but it can also be seen as, in an alternate timeline, what Jeff Kaplan says to explain this announcement. DFW 3K. Ganondorf watching his Ares be decimated by that blasted twink and his 40-foot dick robot. Yeah, let's zoom in on that face. It looks like he's missing teeth. Did I miss that Twilight Princess Ganon has no teeth?
He just couldn't have his fronts in for the cutscene.
I think it's just the angle.
Shiny Mew. Kristen. Kyle Bjork. What the fuck do you mean Hawken is back on PC and it's a horrible dumpster fire?
No, something wearing Hawken's skin is back on PC.
Ooh, is this Skinwalker? This is delicious. Iron Aggro. Blig de Blue. Schligda's Poo. Monster Hunter Ryzen and Raiden. Zelda is now Welsh. Cooper Tank. Nintendo really loved nuts and bolts. Man, if only Xbox had some games that they knew people wanted that were provably good ideas. But they'll save all the Activision old games, right, Bob?
Absolutely.
Moon Muse Entertainment Studio. Indigo Sykes. Drive Typecast would like to recommend the manga Boku Girl. It's cute, funny, and Loki is there. Well, actually, coal and oil formed the Carboniferous and at least 50 million years before the first dinosaur. This is about Mario 93.
Oh, okay. It's like this is a really bold direction to go in for a pod lore.
Shut up, Neil.
I am divorced.
Holy shit. Oh my god. What is that mess?
Well, you see, Aggro, we need to ostensibly make it so you don't know who this person is but you also have to definitely know who it is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was one of the random NPCs in the DC universe.
A raccoon that cried while watching Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Blood for the Blood God. Skulls for the Skull Throne. The Super Mim. Everyone needs to take a break from Zelda and go play Dokapon Kingdom, truly the video game of all time.
I mean,
Zelda.
Sarlene. Timothy Pfister is trying to math out exactly how much of 70s shoujo he needs to check out to fully appreciate Anno's vision.
all of it.
Bearded Joe. Pleochrome. Krunglespum. What do you mean? Sorry, Big Think. It's only been one night since I booted up Tears of the Kingdom, right?
Basically.
I saw that tweet
Sure is
from
how
you,
that game
Aggro.
goes.
I saw that tweet from you, Aggro. That was really good. Where you're just like, I gotta make lunch. Hours later, I gotta make dinner. Well, hey, kid. Want to see a dead body?
What the fuck?
That's the guy who gets you to sell your soul to him for power.
Yeah.
Is there a downside?
Not really.
Not really. Because I get to crash the global economy, so me losing all of my money doesn't really matter. Ace would like to know if you'd ever do a One Piece movie podcast.
I don't think there's that many of those. But also,
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows what the future can hold?
It's funny how many podcast ideas seem like baby shows compared to what we've regularly run. And I'm like, hey, that's not 7.5 years long like Bleach is.
Right?
10 years on, the gene made you a fucking pussy, Jin.
Yeah, that's all I could think of when I saw him.
And slightly above average. Thank you very much to our tiny pod. Oh, there we go. Our normal sized pod lords. Thank you, pod lords.
Thank you, Pod Lords. And if you'd like to become a Pod Lord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/GB Podcasts. For as little as $5 a month, you get many benefits such as early access to Chugging Bleach and Pokemon Go to the Movies, our 2 monthly anime review podcasts. You also get extended content from other shows when indeed such content exists for you to be given, and a patron exclusive show one a month where you get to vote on what good or bad thing we have to watch and then talk about. And if it's a bad thing, you also get a commentary track, and sometimes we just fucking give you commentary tracks anyway. So there's a lot of those for movies you'll never ever want to watch. You also get access to a movie called Isolation 119. This is not a joke. It is a real movie. You get access to it. Nowhere else on the internet can you watch Isolation 119, an amazing, immaculate film about a man who really wants to get a tax write-off on his vacation. That is patreon.com/GB podcast. And if you don't have any money, it always helps us immensely to tell your friends, rate us on Thursdays, rate us on your podcast app choice, and like this video on YouTube if you're watching that way right now. That's patreon.com/GB podcast.
I hear we got news.
Yeah.
We
Just
do.
a little bit. I guess I'll start with my news. There's very little to my news. NVIDIA announced new GPUs. They announced the RTX 4060 GPUs. Plural. Because they announced two models of TI. One's 8 gigabytes of VRAM and the other one's 16 gigabytes of VRAM. And this time, they promise they are the same outside of how much RAM they have. Which, if you recall, they tried to make two 4080s that were radically different GPUs. And they were like, oh, well, this one's just less memory. Don't look at the spreadsheet. Don't look at these specs.
Why can they not just make two different names for these cards?
Because they're identical outside of the memory.
Oh, for real this time?
For real this time. They actually provided a spec sheet confirming this.
All right.
Which means one thing to anyone who's paying attention, especially the fact that the 8 gigabytes coming out this month and the 16 gigabytes coming out next month. The 8 gigabyte is very obviously going to be a RAM-starved GPU. Let me break it down this way. These consoles, modern console, current gen consoles, have 16 gigabytes of RAM. Most of that is being used by the graphics. So let's say 12 gigabytes, 11 gigabytes is just pure graphics. Right? Somewhere up there. Not being super technical here. You are multiple gigs beneath that and still having to deal with the overhead that is running a PC in comparison. So that could be really problematic, but they assure us they have so much cash.
How much is the Series S? Like, how much RAM does that have?
Series S? I don't know. I only memorized the specs for real consoles.
Okay, because I could have sworn that one of its big problem was it being incredibly RAM-starved.
It is RAM-starved, and it has a bottleneck on the bandwidth, which this also has a 128-bit interface, so it's also going to be bandwidth limited. But they assure us that the 32 megs of L2 cache will satisfy that and reduce the need for bandwidth, but not size. So obviously that's why the 16 gig happens. I'm going to run through prices real quick, and then we'll talk about why I'm actually talking about this. The 8 gigabyte 4060 is this month for $400. The 4060 Ti 8 gigabyte is this month for $400. The 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte is $500. It is a console.
Yeah, that's the console price.
Next month. And the 4060 regular is this month for $299. Wow, that is like a low price for a GPU in the modern market. It is worth noting that on paper, at least, and we'll see how this plays out next week when these launch. These seem like they're actually paying attention to the market realities and pricing accordingly.
What?
At all. Even vaguely.
Not enough.
No.
Do not buy video cards for the next year. Make them suffer.
Yeah, diamond hands hold strong.
Yes. We make them regret ever going with crypto pricing. Drive them into the core of the earth.
That is what we should be doing. So now for the part of why we're talking about this, because next week is when we're going to get the actual reviews from technical reviewers and stuff. By the way, I see someone in chat saying the Series S has 10 gigabytes, but 2 of them are used by the OS. So that means it is 8 gigabytes.
Whoa.
So one might say, you're buying a Series S for how much? No. Actually, things may shake out at the end of the day where that ends up being the case, that these are $500 Series S's, basically. On paper, they say they're a lot more. Like, I believe they listed the performance as 22 terabytes, which would be twice a PS5, but we'll see how that shakes out. PC overhead is real. Here's why we're talking about this. The marketing for this sucks and continues to prove why I was so instantly negative on DLSS 3. They are yet again making charts where they're like, look at how much more powerful the current gen is compared to the last. We're using DLSS 3, the frame generation technology that is the same as your 60 frames per second anime 120 soap opera TV mode technology. Those aren't real frames. Those do not belong in a spreadsheet comparing products.
Disgusting. We all knew they would do this, but disgusting to see it happen.
It sucks so bad. So bad. Normal DLSS, I'm fine with. DLSS 2, That's cool. DLSS 3, I don't want every other frame to be generated garbage. I continue to be staggered by the amount of tech reviewers who are like, this looks good. And then when a few came out and were like, this actually has a lot of problem, and the rest of them shouted them down, that was really bizarre because they're the ones who provide the space for NVIDIA to at all get away with this. Because they have this spreadsheet. The spreadsheet that's like, oh, look, it's like twice as powerful as our last GPU. What a great deal. And it's like, half of the frames are fake.
Yeah.
So you're telling me it's as powerful as your last GPU at this class.
Whoa. But it's cheaper though, right?
I heard it is $30 whole cheaper than what the 3060 launched at for one of these SKUs. Next week, we'll find out exactly how fucked this situation is, if they're trying to sell a bunch of streamers AV1 encoders on a GPU for too much money. We'll see. I just wanted to talk about that. Make people aware that NVIDIA's a bunch of scumfucks. Anyways,
just keep in mind whenever you look at the chart, look for that DLSS 3 mark of shame.
Yeah, the fucking mark of the beast.
Yeah, they need to get fucking sued.
They do.
Yes.
You shouldn't be allowed to market using this fake shit. Like the fact that you included some shit that guesses what my fucking game looks like. No, fuck off.
Yeah, there's what was it? I believe Gamers Nexus has a great video, of course, documenting this announcement and explaining things. They even explain the importance of memory cache and how that works. But when talking to NVIDIA, NVIDIA's like, well, if our new car had traction, like if it was a car instead of a GPU, if our new car had traction control, you wouldn't like want us to show you how it works with it turned off, right? And they just go, well, that's not a good analogy because this isn't a car.
Yeah, what if the situation was something entirely fucking different? Wouldn't your opinion on it be different then? Yeah, no shit.
Right? Yeah, it's like, but traction control wouldn't show up on a horsepower chart, which is what you're showing me. Right?
Yeah.
That's the way I was thinking about it. I thought that was the analogy they were going to make too. Where it's just like, you're pretending you have this much more torque or horsepower, but that's not at all what's happening here. Right? So yeah, that's insane. And I really dislike how they keep working DLSS 3 into these charts. I genuinely believe that there is a space for people who are fucking blind to enjoy this technology, but including it on performance charts is disingenuous to a huge extent. Because the whole point of the chart is how many frames it can render.
I mean, that's how the game. Every game's gonna be played in the future, according to NVIDIA. So of course, why?
Well, yeah, NVIDIA sold a bunch of tech bros on the idea that that's true, so that way when they include it in their fucking slides, no one gets pissed. And they bought it. That's the worst part. The worst part is those tech bros absolutely bought this shit.
And this is one of those things where each game needs to support it. It's
Yeah,
not like
like
there's a floor level, like you can raise anything by this much because it's only on certain games.
This chart can't even fill a chart with games that support it. The bottom 4 games, if you look at that image I provided, the bottom, like, what is that, 6? Yeah, 6 or 7 games do not support it, and you can see how much smaller the bar is.
Yeah, wow, they just put that out there. It's like, hey, it's basically no better. It's hardly better at all, actually.
We handpicked a list and still couldn't fill it. Yeah, it sucks. It's genuinely terrible. But we're going to move on. Hey, Aggro, what do you got for news? You got any scum fuckery?
Probably not.
Okay, that's good.
So Jay Gunn, who was one of the lead game designers on Medieval, lead game designer, character designer, lead artist, it was the PS1. People wore a lot of hats.
Yeah, they did.
He is currently experiencing the present. And so he is selling what he is calling an archive of a shit ton of original design work, character art, design documentation for Medieval, like his actual original personal artwork. Yeah, so if at Gunwriter on Twitter, if you want to go find that, put in a bid.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
You can own a shit ton of really cool history for a game that I really like because I haven't gone back to play it.
You're
Weird.
so privileged.
Edgar, you a European? I thought that only people in Europe liked this game ever.
Between this and his love for Horizon, I'm starting to worry about Aggro's lineage.
Sacre bleu.
How do you feel about 50 hertz gaming, Aggro?
Oh my God, nobody's that European.
Oh, I'm sure there's somebody that's that European.
And a weird one here. I checked the link and it no longer seems to be working. So take this with a grain of salt. But somebody found the ESRB had rated Stray, beloved cat robot city simulator Stray, for the Xbox One and Xbox Series consoles.
Okay.
So we're either going to get that announcement on the 11th or it was a weird thing on a website.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense because it came out on PlayStation 5 almost a year ago now.
Right. So their year contract would be up, kind of like what happened with Kenna and just Sifu.
Yeah.
But I think those just came to Steam. I don't think they went to Xbox.
Really?
Well,
I genuinely hope Stray finds an audience on Xbox. Because I was pointing out to Bob that Bugsnax went over and it didn't do anything. Like, I didn't see any uptick on people talking about Bugsnax.
Was Bugsnax on Game Pass? Because if it wasn't, we now have the answer.
I think it was.
I don't know. I don't. If only there was someone with a Master Chief avatar who could tell me. People are saying it was on Game Pass. Wow. Okay. Well, I love Bugsnax. I love Stray. I hope Stray finds even more people who really dig that game. That was an amazing game. Just like the Kenna devs, I'm really excited for whatever the next game is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess we're going. Oh, Bob's and Chris's are so big.
Yeah, we're just all whores.
We're all whores.
At least mine's not that bad.
Yeah, Bob doesn't have any horrors.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Bob. Hey, Bob.
Sure. Just top down?
Sure.
Okay, this game looks really cool. It's Blackfinger Jet. Just got announced for PC. It's made by some of the original people from Metal Slug 1 through 3. And it seems to be them making a new Metal Slug game, but not branded that.
Yeah, it looks cool as shit.
Yeah. So Akio is the original planner and designer, the main one coming over from Metal Slug. And apparently he's got some of his old team back. He also, since he's made a Twitter, he started tweeting about, back when we were making Metal Slug 1, I just slept under the desk for, until 5 a.m. and then we went back to work.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty rough. He was like, oh man, these are good memories, but don't do this. But this game looks really cool. It's like the old pixel art style, very much.
Yes.
Obviously made by the people who made Metal Slug original sprite art.
It is super obvious.
We don't have any sort of date. They're looking for people to join the team still. Like their Steam trailer literally is like advertising for people to help them.
Well, that makes sense. You know, you heard about it from Iga and other people that Japan really lost all their sprite animators as they got into doing 3D work and other stuff or got out of the industry.
Yeah, which is real sad.
It is really unfortunate. If only we could have seen somebody support a console tier video game with 2D graphics made by Iga with a big budget on the PS2 and PS3. Just a thought.
Well, this is cool. Let's move on. The PlayStation Showcase 2023 next week, May 24th. They gave us a week's head up. How nice.
Yeah, it's very kind of them.
Yeah.
I'm so used to them being like, it's tomorrow. Die.
Yeah.
I'm so mad it's on a Wednesday.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be focused on PS5 and PSVR 2, and it'll be a bit over an hour.
I was surprised for them to announce PSVR 2.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love that they're showing this platform support because I'm constantly amazed at the value provided with this and the quality of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot wait for the price to go down more on both the console and this unit so that way we can get it even lower.
So this is the first showcase since the launch year of PS5, right? Because I feel like
yes, since then it's been state of play.
Yeah, state of plays, which suck by comparison.
Well, you're not wrong. I also like state of plays, but obviously we need these big blowouts. And really, Bob, your thirst for these showcases are why we haven't heard shit in 3 years from PlayStation about what they're making. At the same time, though, I'm going to bust a nut when I see Wolverine next week.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get a desk here so that way when that happens, I can stand up and hit it.
It's God.
Make sure you go to Popeyes between now and then.
Ooh.
I'm scared of how big it could be. Like, if there's any validity to that, yeah, Sony isn't showing things because they think it might swing this trade shit, and now they've just said no, we don't care about that at all.
Yeah, now the CMA's stepped in.
Yeah, because as it turns out, this is just like in Monopoly, all you need is one of the things to not get the go ahead, right? They needed all 4 of a certain real estate in order to monopolize, and the UK said no. It's really funny. I don't think this is in anyone's news. Maybe it is the EU stuff.
I think Chris has it.
Yes, it's in mine.
Okay,
we'll just say it now since we're talking about it.
Sure, yeah.
The EU said, yeah, go ahead and merge with Activision, as long as everybody gets to license Activision Blizzard games on their cloud things for 10 years. And then the CMA put out a thing saying that's good for them. We still don't care. It's still blocked.
Yeah. The EU thing is weird. It's like I was reading some of it, and it had this tone of, well, it doesn't make sense for them to do this monopolistic behavior, and they would only hurt them. Like,
and I'm like, they just did that.
Do you see Microsoft? They don't care about money. They made that clear.
But if they did really fucked up shit, they might lose money, and that's really important to one of the largest companies on the face of the planet. They wouldn't do that thing they just did with Bethesda.
No, they wouldn't do that again, right?
But yeah, no, I thought it was very telling that the CMA felt it was necessary to make a press release around the EU, given Brexit, given the online fervor, given everything else, given the stancing and the PR from Microsoft and Activision. I totally get why they were like, oh yeah, we're going to need a press release that says no. No.
Just as a reminder, we're not part of that. We said no.
Just as a reminder, this doesn't matter. When they lose their appeal, which they will, their options are quit or divest every company they own as a subsidiary that's based in the UK and stop selling any products in the UK forever.
Now, here's the funniest thing. I think we got through every big thing about the CMA shit without saying this once, but in order to do that, that means they have to give up one of their only devs consistently turning shit out, and that's Playground Games. The developers of Forza.
Right.
Because they're British. So the only way they could get this through is by giving up one of their only developers who can consistently turn out games.
And, all revenue from the UK forever.
Right.
Which, somebody threw a chart at me for like, here's the GDP for the UK. And I'm like, wow, that's shockingly high. Wow. Given the size.
Right.
Yeah. So, that would maybe not be great to give up the 7th largest GDP in the fucking world. To question mark. Yeah, let's just what is their goal if not let's entertain that's not their goal. What is the goal then of acquiring Call of Duty and Activision?
To put more things on Game Pass.
To make money. That's it. I'm going to say this now.
Okay.
If somehow this acquisition does go through, Call of Duty will not be on Game Pass.
They've already said it will be.
They'll just go back on it. They'll be like, no.
Would Microsoft really go back
telling
on
truth?
I mean, yes, as we.
But Phil Spencer, he would never.
Like this Game Pass shit clearly is like the circle clearly isn't squaring, and buying some of the most profitable IPs in the world to put them on your subscription service. No, that ain't gonna be happening.
Yeah, that seems even riskier than the Bethesda move.
Honestly, if I'm kind of surprised they haven't already been like, Starfield will not be on Game Pass.
The moment they do that, the Xbox brand is dead.
Yeah, the people are already wanting to kill them in the streets for Redfall.
I would say this man is exaggerating. He is not.
I feel really fucking bad for Bethesda now, because it's like, sure, okay, Bethesda, launch your open world game you've been making for 10 years. Sure, there's nothing to compare you to that just fucking came out and is gonna humiliate you on every conceivable level.
Could you imagine if they did the same thing? If they launched the same week as Zelda, they would have gotten worse than Horizon, I feel. They would be put in that negative space.
Yeah, they are so lucky they pushed it out of this quarter.
Yeah.
And into the third quarter, because, oh my God.
We're going to inevitably, I don't know who will make it. It will probably be Kroby Cat in one of his bursts of not being a whiny bitch. Somebody's going to make a video of like, here is Tears of the Kingdom refusing to break no matter what fucked up shit you do versus Starfield crashing because you moved a coffee cup.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna happen for sure. I think there are decent numbers of things that came out or are going to come out this year that would make great material for a Kroby Cat video. So that it is bizarre looking upon that he did Resident Evil 4 remake. For people who don't know, I actually appreciate a lot of the work Kroby Cat does. Like, the editing job is really top notch, and there are some insightful things. For example, the Saints Row's videos. Or, I believe it was Saints Row. It might have been Crackdown. But they were showing the level of simulation just like Grand Theft Auto and how, like, over time it went down. Yeah, it was Crackdown because they were check out
Dead
Crackdown.
Rising also, and that one was
the Dead
one
Rising
that I really like because it's like...
That's insane, yeah.
He gets Kroby Cat gets bogged down a lot and like the trees aren't moving the same. But when it's a video game franchise like Dead Rising, it's like, no, the simulation aspect is a big part of the game, and then they just rip that all out for Dead Rising 4.
Yeah, it's really cool and interesting seeing how, like, Dead Rising 1, you'll save someone and then they'll go off in the direction that they need to get to where they're going to stay, right? Now that they're safe. And then Dead Rising 4, I'm not sure if you've seen the Dead Rising 4 video, but he saves the person. They're like, thanks. And then they just fade away in front of him.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think the item they were holding just drops on the ground.
Yes!
In place.
It was so funny. But yeah, I hope that guy does some videos this year on a lot of games that I think are worth doing that for. You know, I think the Back 4 Blood video is a really good one too, for showing not just Back 4 Blood bad, be angry, but just how impressive and good Left 4 Dead is even this many years later.
Right.
You know, like, honestly, a lot of that stuff, a lot of that 7th gen simulation stuff that got cut away so we could have prettier graphics, I think that is sort of the thing that Tears of the Kingdom really ties into.
Yeah, for sure.
That ambition of physics and systems and things to make the fun that I hope things go back towards, because I'm currently watching the Western industry almost burn alive while Tears of the Kingdom and Elden Ring are just making tons of money. And not being, what was it, one of the founders or head people at Godot said, technically accurate. Or whatever the fuck the tweet was. That was a funny tweet. Anyways, hey, Bob, we need to get to the rest of
sure. BlizzCon 2023 is happening.
Maybe we don't need to get to the rest of your news. I have changed my opinion.
It's going to be the Anaheim Convention Center in California, November 3rd and 4th. Will this actually happen?
Yeah, probably.
Poll.
Is this shit for real? Oh man.
Yeah.
BlizzCon.
Yeah, I feel like it's been gone for a while, and it doesn't look like an encouraging year to come back due to other news we have in this.
Yeah, that's definitely the case.
And hopefully Diablo 4 launches fine, but given how the beta went, I am still entertaining that maybe Diablo 4's launch will also be a bit of a dumpster fire. I'll find out because my brother, you know, we had our Mother's Day dinner recently, and my brother informed me he's getting me the digital deluxe edition of Diablo 4, a $90 game. So I could get it a few days earlier. So I will be the man in the cave on day one to let you know whether or not the game's on fucking fire. I guess.
Yeah. You think there's going to be any more than one boss of a dungeon? I don't know, dude. It was so sad being like, with the boss of this entire chapter is this guy I fought 4 times, but with one new move. What the fuck?
I made the joke to Bob. I was like, man, I wish I was fucking unbelievably loaded YouTuber Twitch man, because then I'd be like, okay, yeah, Steve, no, it's fine. Give me Diablo 4 for my birthday. And for your birthday, I'm getting you a PS5, PSVR 2, and now you have to play this online shooter VR game with me. He's like, but I'm old and I don't want to move. And I'm like, too bad. I played Diablo 4 for you, brother.
This is my revenge.
This is my revenge. It cost me $1,030, but I did it. Oh, man.
All these things we got.
Hey, is anyone in chat going to BlizzCon? Sound off now if you feel safe. Other chat members may judge you. They may judge you.
God, would anyone go?
I think there would be some. Maybe I'm a little fucked up, but this is the most interested I've ever been in going. Because I want to see how dour the tone is. I want to see if people are like, man, fuck these guys. And I'm just, you can feel it, right?
No, you won't feel it at all. It'll be all the people who were quote tweeting the reveal of fucking Lifeweaver going, oh, daddy. Like, that's going to be the whole people. That's going to be everybody. It's all going to be the people that are so fucking in, they can never be out.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, Dan, what you just said, Dan, is, I can't, it'll be so dour at the Xbox festival. No, it won't. You'll be surrounded by people who have headers of Master Chief holding Jinsekai's head.
I'm glad I haven't seen one of those in 3 years.
Just wait till next week when they announce Ghost of Tsushima 2. Well, they'll be all back again.
You think?
Yeah.
I think Redfall may have broken the spell on even some of those people.
Possible. I feel like both the Blizzard fans and the Microsoft fans have now been hit with a giant hammer. Like, I think that this
Western civilization is falling.
I think that the Overwatch announcement from this week has decimated some people's excitement for that.
Yeah.
It's just people who still play WoW and will accept anything, any drivel that comes out.
You know what?
Even they're pissed now because they fired all the people who made fucking Dragonflight good.
Oh. So, hey, Chris, let's go to our Overwatch 2 news. You got any cool Overwatch 2 news?
So Overwatch 2's PvE component, as it was originally envisioned, has been entirely fucking scrapped. There will be small little bits of PvE content, and there will be occasional PvE events. But what they originally envisioned, which was a campaign with a skill tree and your character's advanced, and there was gonna be fucking cutscenes and all this shit, all gone. And they knew it would be gone before they even launched Overwatch 2. Yep. They launched Overwatch 2 fully aware this shit was not happening. And they even said, we cannot support continued development on the multiplayer aspect and make this single player shit. That isn't working.
Yeah. So they killed Overwatch 1 for 3 years or something for nothing.
Yeah. God, this is infuriating, because that even when they launched Overwatch 2, they said, "Oh, don't worry,
it's
the
coming.
real Overwatch 2 is coming,"
and it's like they already knew it wasn't.
Yeah.
Why would you ever admit that you already knew it wasn't?
I don't know.
That's something that needs to leak. That's not something you admit. You don't need to admit that you fucking lied to us.
Yeah.
Not even Phil does that. And Phil does way more than he should. I think everyone agreed after that fucking interview. That sucks, man.
Yeah.
It sucks hearing from producers on Overwatch how Bobby Kotick kept fucking them over and over by making them do stupid bullshit instead of making the game they wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Overwatch feels like the biggest bag fumble in history, basically.
Oh yeah, no, they had a game that decimated countless other pretenders to the throne, right?
Yeah.
And then they didn't know what to do with it. At any point.
Like, the obvious solution was the Fortnite method of, no, you need hundreds of developers on this now.
Right.
To make the content that you need to keep this supported.
Like, dumbass, do you not realize you could be doing small games about each hero? Do you not realize you could build micro campaigns?
Right.
For your Reaper and other
it's like a weird version of the goose that laid the golden egg, except in this one they just didn't feed the goose and kept expecting gold.
They're the hero shooter version of PUBG. Except PUBG had the excuse of Epic going, look what we're going to do to these guys.
Right.
They didn't even have that. They just blew up all on their own.
Yeah, literally, people tried to do that to them, and they were all just
they bounced off.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had that bulletproof armor, and then they starved themselves to death. It's truly insane. If they had treated it well, if they had gone full Fortnite, if they had they could have turned it into Blizzard's end of the Call of Duty thing. Maybe don't make another Diablo so soon. Maybe like just pool more resources into Overwatch. Maybe stop beating the dead horse that is WoW. But of course, I'm biased on that one.
It could have been there. It could have been as big as World of Warcraft was at its height.
Yeah, easily. But they genuinely had no idea what to do at all. I saw somebody post something on Twitter, I believe, but it may have been the fan Discord. But it was just an insane connecting dots that I didn't want to deal with. But hey, Bob.
Hey, what's up?
You know Redfall?
What about it?
You know what's really weird and interesting to contrast Redfall to?
Okay.
Battleborn, which launched with a full co-op campaign.
Oh, yeah.
It's really weird. Battleborn was beaten ceaselessly upon its launch for being like an also-ran and not compelling as an ID and all these other things. And it's like, why can't Redfall at least be as good as that?
Well,
for all the crimes Gearbox has committed, they seem to ship feature complete games.
Relatively, yeah. I can't remember the last time they shipped a thing that was, not done.
Didn't they make an Aliens game?
There we go.
Didn't they
Yes,
pretend
they
they
did.
made an Aliens game?
Yes,
they made
that
an
is the
Aliens
actual
game.
thing.
They pretended they made an Aliens game while embezzling all the money to spend on the development of Borderlands 1, which allegedly, a court says they didn't, but that court's wrong. Allegedly.
That is true. That it is alleged. But yeah, that was a crazy dot to connect, and I'm like, guys, please. It's like the reverse of a GameFAQs character battle. Like in the polls, they're just like, hey, let's dig up the worst games we can and have them battle to the death.
Right.
I feel like the only thing you really have to say about Overwatch at this point is that somebody at Blizzard had to utter the words, "The game Overwatch is not canon to the story of Overwatch."
What?
I second that.
Oh, because because they contradict themselves constantly, so they had to say none of the voice lines or anything are real. Only weird comics we put out or books are real. But we canceled all of those because we couldn't get our fucking shit in order.
Which highly related, why is there not an Overwatch show? I don't. They're so stupid. Overwatch could be a G.I. Joe of this generation, but for some reason they couldn't fucking...
Yeah, they even went through the leaps of like the making this a T-rated game, not going overly violent or anything.
Right.
Like this could have been mass appeal.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's just one of those Skinner boxes like League of Legends, except even worse because League of Legends was like, we should make a fucking show, and then they did, and it was widely regarded and fucking stellar.
Yeah. Well, Riot Games is just so infinitely stronger than Blizzard.
And Riot Game and they have all those games about specific heroes now.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
They sure are the same company, but more competent, including in the bad ways. Let's go into this other fucking story.
Yeah, sure. There we go. Nightmare transition.
Riot Games has a new CEO because the old CEO presumably will no longer be with us within a couple weeks. They settled their gender discrimination lawsuit that started, I think, in 2019. So, like, literally the year we started, big thing to mention. They are paying out $100 million to 1,500 women. 1,500. Riot only has 2,500 employees. That means literally every single woman who has worked from Riot in that 4-year period, pretty much,
Jesus,
is getting a settlement from this. Every single fucking one, almost.
I'm just sitting there and I'm like, you're telling me you discriminated so hard that 60% of your workforce won a lawsuit against
every woman.
And Riot's workforce is still primarily male, so it has to be people who left and then continued to sue them.
Oh my god! That turnover is so
quality.
Right? Holy shit!
The average size of what each woman will be getting is $64,000. Some will be getting as little as $5,000. Some will be getting as much as $150,000. Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
They get something. But damn.
Like that, at what point is the company not a game developer, but something to funnel new women to the miscreants in management?
So we're going to teach you, thank you for enrolling in our education system to be somebody who works in HR departments and helps solve and identify gender discrimination problems in advance. As a part of your training, you're going to go work for Riot Games. So that way you know exactly what that looks like. Holy shit. That is fucking insane. All right. All right. Hey, Bob.
Hey.
Let's cover your news.
Sure. My next thing, they announced that man, Oscar R hashtag for Guilty Gear Strive.
I think that's what it actually is. I don't know why it's fucking hashtag suddenly.
Oh, what did you say it was?
I think his name's Asuka R. Kreutz.
But now it's a pound sign.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bob, it's not a hashtag if it comes at the end of a thing.
Oh, no.
A hashtag is when you put a pound sign at the beginning and write words.
All right.
So if it comes at the end, it's a pound sign.
Got it.
Yeah.
So he's coming out next week, the 25th.
You're telling me it's supposed to be sharp? It's supposed to be sharp, so it's musical notation.
Oh, like or C sharp.
Yes. The famous C sharp. Yes, it's a sharp. That's how they denote that on musical. God damn, guys.
All right.
Next, yeah, there we go. We need to put a pound sign in his name for the next release. Like just British.
Oh,
pound.
British pounds. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. His stage looks tight.
Yeah, the stage, the Turnanog. The Knights, whatever they are.
Yeah, those guys. Them Knights.
So yeah, most of those next week. He looks pretty cool. It's nice to have another cool looking character that says Bridget. And it feels like it's taken over a year for the season pass to play out. The season pass 3 is on the way. We don't have any information on it.
Smash Bros. Final year of DLC on the season pass was like a year and a half, wasn't it? Where they just had these huge gaps in between 6 characters or some shit. Yeah, it took a while, and we were like, "Man, COVID," and then Sakura's just like, "Also," yeah, he's just like, "Also, we finished the game and we did not do any work on the DLC characters yet, so that's what's up with that." Oh, cool. So that's cool.
Yeah,
I like his level a lot. I like his code a lot.
His code's pretty cool. I like that he has the bow and arrow. So I'm like, was Ishida's voice actor just cast because of this for this moment?
Oh my god! So that was him.
It's Arxis, so yes, probably.
Oh my god, that was him.
Yes, that was him.
I thought I was having a stroke thinking that was him.
That's Derek Steven Friends.
Oh my fucking god! I thought chugging bleach was doing a number on my brain.
The audio for this trailer was so horribly mixed. We could hardly hear him talk under all the sounds. I paused it a few times at the beginning and be like, clearly some other video is running.
And like, shut the fuck up, other tab. I'm trying to listen to this great Guilty Gear trailer.
And then my final thing of news. They had a Humble Games showcase today.
Cool.
So I copied all the announcements from that.
Okay, let's go through it. Bob, Wizard of Legend 2.
Yeah, that just got announced. It's a sequel to Wizard of Legend, a 4-player top-down roguelike game where you play as 4 wizards. This time it's 3D though. I feel like it looks worse because the original is like cool looking pixel art, and it feels like the entire selling point of this is now we have 3D art, and it's like, why though? It's made by a new dev called Dead Mage, and they with support with like guidance provided by the original developer, who was Contingent 99.
That was what?
Contingent 99.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully it'll still be faithful for people who like that. Who knows? Cataclysmo. Also,
it sounds like a terrible, like, infamous enemy.
It does.
Like, I named myself. We could tell, bro.
It's a
By the way, Cataclysm with an I and then an O at the end. If anyone wanted to Google this, it's Cataclysmo.
it's a tower defense / RTS game. The trailer did not give me much of an idea how it's going to play, though, so it's really unclear exactly what this is like.
Okay.
Lost Skies also announced it's a survival co-op adventure game with 1 to 6 players on floating islands. It looks like it's made out of Unreal's assets and just sort of pasted in there. It looks weird and fake.
What does the core gameplay look like exactly?
There's no real gameplay showcased here. They say in-game and in-engine, and they show 2 people going around with grappling hooks and like jumping around these floating islands.
Huh.
And then they posted screenshots on the Steam page where it's just more screenshots of those generic looking characters standing on these floating islands. So I have no idea.
Okay.
Breeze in the Clouds look pretty cool. It's like a combat focused 2D side scroller adventure game where you play as a little corgi who has wind powers.
Ooh.
It's all I guess flash animation style kind of looking,
Okay.
but it's cute.
Breeze in the Clouds. Okay.
And then Blood, which is #BLUD. It is hashtags at the beginning this time.
Yes. No, that's actually Sharp Blood.
Sharp Blood. This is apparently done by an animation studio / developer. It looks really well animated. It's like a top-down. I guess they call it dungeon crawler, but it looked like it might be like a Zelda-like, where you fight vampires in like a modern day setting, in a or in some sort of school. It's unclear if it's high school, like middle school. It's like kids fighting vampires. Looks pretty neat.
Yeah, that looks cool as hell. Dude, the last time we got a fusion game dev / animation studio is Kenna, and that went pretty well.
Right?
So I now can't talk shit ever.
And the last thing, Bo, Path of the Teal Lotus.
Now, that O has the long O symbol above it.
It does.
But that probably won't affect Googleability. Path of the Teal Lotus. Okay. What's the deal with this?
This is a Metroidvania where you play as like a little fox spirit, and it's 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania. It's not like a weird take on it or anything.
Yeah, it's Hollow Knight.
Yes. the famous
I'm sorry,
Hollow
I'm looking
Knight
at the trailer. That's just exactly what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. But it was Japanese-inspired artwork.
So is this your game of the show, Bob?
No.
Oh, okay. Which one was your game of the show? Was it Blood?
That or Breeze. Breeze in the Clouds. Both of those look pretty neat. I think the Bow kind of look kind of lame. Like it looks like it looks Hollow Knight-esque, but not delivering as well.
Okay. I think out of all these, because I've been Googling them real fast over here to just look at them.
Yeah.
I think the ones that are the one that is most compelling to me, at least, is #Blood. But any other thoughts on this?
Not really. I was surprised all this came out today, and those were all new announcements. None of those were like
pre-announced
or things we've seen before.
So you're telling me those were world premieres?
Allegedly.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's move to Chris. Hey, Chris. I hear you're going to talk about Saints Row again?
Yes, Saints Row. The Saints Row is getting Final Fantasy 15 tier post-launch support. They put out like, yeah, we're adding those new free chunks of the map that will have missions in them.
What?
For free play, like even for free players. They also put out like, here's all our giant shit that we're doing to overhaul the combat system. We're overhauling it even more than this, actually. Let me pull up the list because it's fucking ludicrous.
It is. I glanced at that too. Like, isn't the first bullet that every enemy takes half as much damage?
The first point is I'll just read some. Drastically reduced the hit point values of all enemies.
Yeah.
Reduced the frequency of enemy dodges in melee to near 0. Increased the amount of time it takes for enemies to call reinforcements. Enemies arriving to combat situations will now not all crash into each other in their cars.
Wait a minute. That sounds like a bad change.
Improved impact reactions when you use a heavy weapon because they didn't do shit before.
Really?
God, what are some more here?
This is really interesting because a lot of these seem to tie into. We realized padding the game out by making everything a bullet sponge was a horrible fucking mistake.
Yeah. Buffed low-level explosive skills to be more useful and fun throughout the game. Removed damage immunity on enemy combatants when dodging. Added better logic to enemies attempting to call for reinforcements, so they will now like stand in view of the player so you can interrupt them.
Oh.
Added logic to better clean up vehicles abandoned by fleeing pedestrians. It seems like they're completely changing how you get the combat perks, because I didn't get fucking any of them just playing the game.
Jeez, that's rough.
Yeah, it's and they're like, we're gonna fix it even more. I'm like, this is cool. You probably shouldn't. You probably should just let that thing die.
Right.
Like, this is you ain't getting a No Man's Sky. I'm sorry, that ain't happening.
It isn't, but at the same time, something tells me updating this game will buy them more time in the grand scheme of things to make the next thing good, and maybe we learn some lessons here.
They didn't learn a lesson from going from Agents of Mayhem to this. They seem to have made all the exact same mistakes.
Well, see, that's the thing. Agents of Mayhem didn't have the Final Fantasy 15 like post-launch support. This will break the cycle.
Amazon Games Orange County, the developers of New World, that MMO that didn't really take off, they're making a Lord of the Rings MMO next for consoles and PC. One, I don't think we've ever been in a situation in the entire industry like this where a company's like, yeah, we're making a second MMO while we continue to try and support the first MMO. I don't think this studio's big enough to do that.
I feel like other people have attempted this, but it never goes well.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, Blizzard literally did that. That's what Overwatch was to begin with.
That's true.
And then they had to hard pivot.
Right.
They canceled that whole fucking game, and they're just like, we have all these pieces left over. What the fuck do we do?
Secondly, they're shipping this on fucking consoles. New World isn't on consoles, so now you're gonna have to learn how to make a console MMO. And all you, because New World is, as far as my understanding, is one of those CBT MMOs for PC gamers.
Right. That's what it always seemed advertised as, at least.
But on console, there's entirely different expectations, and also you have to make sure all your shit works with a controller. You have to make sure your UI all works with a controller, your inventory all works with a controller, all that shit.
Oh yeah, and like this is what your brain's thinking about, but mine's just like, hey guys, just a reminder, don't play this at launch. You don't want your PS5 to melt.
Yeah, New World was a real mess at launch, and it was like, the way they framed it is like, this is going to be an enormous scope game. I don't think it's ever going to come out. I think this is just going to be yet another one of those projects that is either one, way too big a scope for the studio making it and just never happens, or two, gets meddled with into oblivion.
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
Yeah, aren't there like 3 license holders they're working with to get this done?
I mean, shit, if this thing even comes out, it's not coming out until next gen for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, MMOs are like that, man.
Yeah, no one's
too big.
I don't think anyone's spinning up an MMO nowadays in only 3 years.
Yeah, I don't.
But I'm still trying to figure out how you make a Lord of the Rings MMO that doesn't make anyone who actually likes Lord of the Rings want to pull their teeth out with pliers.
I mean, they made there's already a Lord of the Rings MMO that's been around for a fucking while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know nothing about it.
Yeah, that's still supported.
It's just more they even ported it to like PS5 or something. Maybe not.
I don't know.
We had some examples in chat of people who were to spin up 2 MMOs. At very least, one of them I didn't see. Weren't the City of Heroes games and City of Villains like?
Oh yeah, that thing. I could have sworn that led to a paradigm that ended up both of them crashing and dying. I could have sworn that's what happened.
One, they both died. Two, none of these examples that I'm seeing, like Wizard 101 and Pirates 101, like, these are 2 like WoW scale MMOs. These are big fucking games. It's not the same thing.
Yeah. Also, I saw Guild Wars, but Guild Wars is different in how it's an MMO. And it's instancing and other things.
Yeah, there's a bunch of instances for both of those versions, and I
Yeah,
feel
there's
like
not
that's
the
pretty.
expectation for constant updates with Guild Wars because it has no sub. It's buy to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, those are more likable to Destiny. A game I still argue is not really an MMO, but
Right.
But yeah, we'll see. We won't know either way for like 5 years.
you know what? I never got to tell the story on anything, so I'm telling you now. So one of the funniest things about Destiny is that when it instances the tower in the original Destiny, it does it based on your locale. It does it based on what region you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So I constantly saw our area code for phone numbers 850 at the end of so many PlayStation Network handles. I'm like, this is fucking awful. Get me out of here.
I wonder if New World is still like popular at all, because I remember when it first launched, it did better than we expected, but a lot of that seemed like maybe paid streamers.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. And yeah, of course it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's any actual support like players wise for that anymore.
It's like how would you be able to determine anything from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point you'd be like, Publix has a lot to worry about because HelloFresh is in every streamer's layout. Obviously, they're going to stop shopping at Publix.
Obviously.
They're going to bankrupt them. What's next?
Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt is ending development. That means no updates. You can still play it. It's the Vampire the Masquerade Battle Royale, I think?
I think I saw this at a show.
Yeah, I remember this trailer. Mm-hmm. I'm
Yeah.
not surprised that's the one that died.
Yeah, it's some
You
bro.
could-
Just fucking make Bloodlines 2. You're doing all this shit that's bombing. Just make the thing people actually fucking want. What are you doing releasing fucking Werewolf the Apocalypse, one of the worst rated games of the past couple of years? Like, what on earth are you doing?
Yeah, wasn't there also some weird action adventure Bloodlines or sorry, Vampire the Masquerade game last year or something?
They've shipped like a fucking million. A Swan Song
Yeah,
is what they shipped last year, but that has no combat.
Oh no?
Yeah, you just walk around and like deal with items and make puzzles and make fucking moral choices.
Okay.
According to members of chat that I have no reason to question, currently the New World has 13,000 players on Steam right now. So
Yeah, that's not a huge amount.
it's not
that game
huge, but it's also doing a lot better than Redfall. Something tells me a year from now, Redfall will not have numbers anywhere.
I mean, New World is one of the most expensive games ever made because it was in development fucking forever because they had to do, what is it called? The fucking Lumberjack engine?
Lumberyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
this is some deep irony because Redfall's fucked up because they had to change from CryEngine to Unreal Engine 4, which for people who don't know, Lumberyard is literally Amazon bought that specific update of CryEngine and made their own. They're like, this is our engine now. Man, that's so sad.
Yep.
Anyway.
So Ubisoft announced that it will increase the people working on Assassin's Creed by 40%. 2,000 people work on it right now, so that's 800 more people. That means there will be more people working on Assassin's Creed than work at Riot Games.
Now, right off the bat, I don't believe this is a strategy to in any way work. I think Ubisoft has decided that they're going down and they're taking as many people as possible with them. So they're just going to hire as much of humanity as they can.
They said they were not hiring any people. These would be allocations from other places in the company.
Oh,
What?
okay.
Oh.
So it's literally we will kill everything else.
Well, no, Bob, they're not going to kill anything because they said in the same thing that by the end of March 2024, they plan to release Assassin's Creed Mirage,
Okay.
the Avatar game,
No.
Rainbow Six Mobile,
Sure.
Division Resurgence. Is that the big fucking rehab of the Division 2 that they're fucking working on? I don't even
No,
know
I
at this
think
point.
that's the other one that's
I
an
think-
online battle royale.
The survival battle royale mixed thing.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
think.
yeah, I think Resurgence is that one.
Skull and Bones,
Okay.
the Crew Motorfest.
Is this our announcement for this game? I swear they didn't say this once before this.
Yeah, I've never heard of this.
I am actually really interested in the Crew, so this is giving me a stroke right now as I go, is that how they announced The Crew?
Or is this a mobile game?
Yeah, maybe
We
it's a
don't
mobile
know.
game. I'm gonna look this
Tom
up.
Clancy's XD, X Defiant,
XD
and quotations, another large game, which is kind of implied to be Beyond Good and Evil 2. And all of these within the next 10 months.
That is 8 games, none of which seem entirely real. One of them we didn't even know existed until the announcement here.
Okay,
That is
apparently,
bare minimum 6 full console games.
apparently, it looks like they announced the Crew Motorfest in January. I don't remember this. That's really weird. Maybe I just forgot.
Did they even make a trailer?
Yeah, they got all sorts of YouTubers being like, everything we know about, blah, blah, blah.
They made a teaser trailer, which is a car that rotates in 4K.
There's a PlayStation Store page for this game.
All right.
It has nothing on it.
So I don't see this happening. It's fucked up
We're
that
going to magically take 800 people from these other projects and still release all of them. All right.
Hey, they might.
It's fine, Bob. That's only 4%. 800 people's only 4% of who work for the company.
Oh my god. Yeah, sometimes you forget how insanely huge
Yeah.
Ubisoft is.
I
It is
don't.
unreasonable.
I never forget.
I think they said in this shit that's like 21,000.
Yeah, and they're like they operate out of something like 7 countries or more.
Yeah.
They are everywhere, and they're literally the poster child for the 1,000 dev team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they are the people that Resident Evil 6 was made in the image of.
Right.
They absolutely are the definitive. We are way too fucking big.
My guess is that Assassin's Creed Infinite Super Ultra game ain't fucking coming together. That's probably why Assassin's Creed Mirage exists at all, because if they don't ship Mirage by the end of this year, we'll have gone over 3 years without an Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I thought
the last one was Valhalla.
Wasn't Mirage supposed to be in the first half of this year?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first exciting looking Assassin's Creed in 6 years?
Yeah,
7 years?
it's really fucking weird because I was ready to get into Assassin's Creed at the beginning of this gen. And then my Xbox wouldn't fucking play the game right. And then they didn't make another.
This was all in a like a financial thing where it's like, yeah, we lost $500 million last year.
Here's my theory, okay? That makes sense because all of these games are going to come out because COVID buffering. They couldn't ship their games effectively through COVID, so they've just been doing a really distended development cycle on way too many things.
Maybe.
So we're gonna get.
I know. I think the fucking Grim Reaper has come to take his fucking fee.
I think. I think we should all brace for a year with some of the most 10s we've ever seen and some of the most 7s we've ever seen. 10s being the Tears of the Kingdom segment for this podcast, and the 7s being the countless Ubisoft games.
I don't think I think if they ship any of those games, they're gonna be busted to shit.
I bet the most stable out of all of these will be Assassin's Creed Mirage because it was based on the DLC and it has been in development for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't sound like it's doing anything ambitious, right?
Yeah, but we don't know how big its development team is because they're all being worked to death making the Infinite Super game.
It sounds like if the Assassin's Creed Direct gave me the right idea, which it was speaking in flowery language and not being very direct about exactly what the hell they're saying means. It sounds like they're just making a bunch of Assassin's Creed games with some sort of portal you use to get into them and a questionable connective tissue that's ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
I assume it will be monetized to hell.
Oh, yeah, I assume. But to some extent, part of me goes, is this entire concept, the entire concept of, this is Assassin's Creed, whatever, the portal you use to access all of your Assassin's Creed, is this them just trying to convince, because keep in mind when it was and when it would have started development as a concept, Was this them trying to appease the metaverse heads in the financial fields? Because it was the way it's phrased, the way it's structured, the notion of it is to be a metaverse for Assassin's Creed.
The metaverse
Right.
heads, Dan? You mean like the director of the game?
Yes.
The creative and real director of Assassin's Creed Infinite, who thinks that we will be able to generate entire games from AI in 10 years? I don't think there's a plan. I think Ubisoft is fatally wounded and we're going to watch them stumble into their grave over the next 4 or 5 years.
All I'm saying is what I expect is for that connective tissue, that weird concept, that ambiguous thing, that esoteric notion to just vanish, and then we're left with just, oh, right, they're just making Assassin's Creed games.
I think the way it's going to materialize is, you remember Assassin's Creed 1?
Yeah.
You remember the hospital room you were in the real world?
Yeah.
Well, there's 3 beds. Those are the 3 different Assassin's Creed games you can boot.
I
thought the genetic code contained it, not the bed.
Sorry, it's all the beds.
I'm kind of worried that they're going to be doubling down on the RPG shit, and this is their weird Assassin's Creed Destiny.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's
what they want to some extent.
Right. That's what they told us they were going to do. Like the Mirage was the harken back to old days, but then we get to go into the brave future that is their current Assassin's Creed plan for the Ninja one.
They announced Hex, and then Red, I believe, was the Ninja one, right? And that's the furthest out one.
Is the Ninja one the first out one? I couldn't remember.
It is the furthest out. Hex comes next.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so heck, it'll be the Salem witch hunting one.
Assassin's Creed Heckin.
But they were like, for updates on these, look forward to the fucking Ubisoft Forward or whatever the fuck it's called.
Hell
in like the next couple months.
I hope Aggro has that off. Aggro's like, haha, that's funny. I don't.
Nicolas Cage is being added to Deadlight by Daylight. We have no idea what form this is gonna take, but he's in there.
Yeah, they posted a picture of his face.
Dracula.
No, he looks like regular Nicolas Cage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he looks like beat the shit out of the Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics Nicolas Cage from that movie he did the other year.
Yeah.
So will he be a killer then or a survivor?
I assume he'll be a survivor.
I assume they're just gonna tap into that, like, you know, Happy Harry Partridge fucking tune where it was him from the Weatherman, that weird shitpost video. They're gonna tap into that Nicolas Cage energy, so he's just gonna pop in a door and be like, ta-da! As he tries to take off your head. I think that works. He wants that cake. He's gonna be yelling that over and over and over.
Like when we put a funny meme in our game. This is modern and relevant,
Cage
right?
is like, I'm not just a meme. Yes, you are, honey. You're right. I'm sorry.
GTA 6 is probably coming out next year. Because Take-Two said, in the fiscal year 2025, which is March of next year to March of 2025, we're going to make $8 billion.
I mean, this is exactly what I expected based on the leaks last year.
I mean, that's about how far it looked from done.
And how their marketing works. Because you know it's not this year, because it would already be in motion even slightly.
Right. Mm-hmm. You have to wonder if we're going to start to see the gears turn at the PlayStation event next week, because they
clearly have a tight connection with Rockstar, given the weird GTA Online gets you this many bucks with a PS5 and the remake, and also these remasters,
and how they opened their show with it.
Yeah, I'd like they just do the same thing. GTA 5 Online. 2 trailers later, we finally get GTA 6.
I'm really excited for GTA 6. How's everyone feeling about this? Bob, let's start with you.
Yeah, this is exciting. I think when we get a full numbered entry for GTA, it's always like a big moment.
Bob, noted hater of Vice City. That's what you were trying to say, right?
No.
That you hate it because it doesn't have the number 3 or something.
No, I'm sorry. Vice City is probably my favorite one.
I'm super fucking excited for this. I think I watched every single clip that leaked. If I didn't, I watched way over half.
Yeah, for me, like, the GTAs are the staple of what made, like, I think it's pretty well accepted that, like, GTA 3 is what invented the modern open world game.
Yeah.
Like that, and then like Zelda were the two big open world games in my head.
Yeah. No, it's true. Those two work together to sort of craft that
Ubisoft
notion.
tried so hard. They tried so hard to be in there, and they just got swept off completely. They're like, Bob, please, it's 90% of our catalog, please, Bob.
Yeah, but every time you come out, you suck.
They have like the evil version of the open world game where there's no joy or love or any simulation layers that are really cool.
Right.
I say this, but I thought the latest Far Cry was okay. Chris, how you feel about GTA 6? Did you watch any of the leaked clips?
I watched a little bit. What really blunted a lot of my enthusiasm for GTA 5 was just when it came out, it was on these potato consoles. It came out on 7th gen, we have to keep in mind.
Yes. Yes.
And it was not like it's also on next gen. That wasn't out. Next gen wasn't here yet.
No.
Yeah, and it was years out, I think. Like the next gen version comes out 2 or 3 after launch.
Version, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like
So
maybe
it's
I'll
like,
finally
you want to play
it
this
on
game?
PS5.
Fuck you. Play it on this piece of shit. So you haven't even played 5.
Oh, I have played 5. I got to about the part where Trevor and the main white guy whose name I don't remember.
Michael, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Michael, when they meet up, like when you finally start to have all 3 protagonists together. And then I was like, this run's too fucking bad. I'm sorry. I can't handle this.
I also quit around there.
So maybe I'll fucking play through it on the PS5 because they gave that version away basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I own it. I went out of my way to buy that. I think it's a pretty good way to see that game. Like it's so cool to see it running well.
Yeah. It still feels really bad, but
yeah,
yeah.
They seem to consider that a core part of their identity.
With ambition.
Yeah.
They leaned really hard on the simulation shit on Red Dead 2. So I don't know what 6 will be. I'm excited
that's what I'm waiting to see.
I'm excited to see what edgy looks like in 2023.
Well, also interesting of note to us Floridians. This is taking place in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be like,
but like which Florida? Like, are we going back to Miami or
no? This actually seems to have a tone a bit more like what we're used to.
I mean,
still a leaked environment.
Vice City, considering how fucking enormous it's going to be, it's probably gonna be like, yeah, this is the entire fucking state of Florida.
Right. So I assume Vice City will be in there, but we'll also
Vice City was in those leaks.
Stu in chat says, "Can't wait to fight Ron DeSantis in GTA 6." I think
I would buy that game 3 times.
See, this is what I was thinking. That the only way to actually make GTA controversial again, because the way 5 tried to be controversial is it has that waterboarding scene.
Yeah.
They're gonna unironically make GTA 6 quote unquote woke. And you'll have to destroy Ron DeSantis's campaign. For Disney, you'll work for Disney as you destroy Ron DeSantis's campaign. You're going to do all this, and people will gnash their teeth. All the biggest freaks in the world will get so mad. That's the only way to actually make GTA 6 controversial again.
It would be pretty great, because that some of those GTA heads are definitely extremely, let's just say, right wing.
Let's say fans of the quartering.
Yeah,
but just keep the exact same tone of GTA, but just like do it from that angle.
Yeah, it's very interesting that we've had GTA 5 setting the tone for GTA for so long now. It's like 9.5 years old or something.
Yeah,
it'll be 10 years old this fall. Yeah, so it'll probably come out around 11 years.
So I'm Aggro, what is your history with GTA? Because I'm shooting from the hip here, right? I'm now just saying, because I've never had to build in my head, what is Aggro's opinion on a Did you just buy 4 because we all had a PS3 at the time and it was like, well, this is a big game, and then just went, eh? Or was that Lily only?
I played a shit ton of Vice City back in the day.
Yeah.
Like I had that Mountain Dew stained cheat sheet page written out next to the PS2. And I did buy 4, and I got a ways into it and went, wow, this is incredible. I don't want to play it, but they really did the hell out of what they meant to do here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that felt. It's a real shame that in some ways they had to dial back the simulation so it was playable at all. I'm really hopeful for 6. Here's the number one rapid fire gamer premonition moment of the podcast. Are you ready?
Okay.
I forgot to change the topic to GTA. Oh, no. Anyway, somebody timestamp this so we can review this in the future in the comments. Go into the comments, timestamp it. Is this shipping on a PS4 like was planned? Is GTA 6 shipping on the PS4 like was planned? Worth noting, in those leaks, which were old by the time it came out, you know, they were 6 months old at least.
Right.
They had a PS4 build.
Yeah, they did. Man.
We'll start with aggro. Aggro?
On balance, I think it's more likely than not. Yeah, it's GTA. They will sell as many as they can. Buy GTA 6, get in-game currency for GTA 5.
Chris.
I'm gonna say no. I hope so it'll run better on PS5, but I'm gonna assume that it will not ship on PS4.
Bob.
It seems comical to release a PS4 game in 2024. But at the same time, obviously they're working on that.
Or were. Yeah, we know at least a little over a year ago they had active builds, or about a year ago they had active builds.
Right.
No, it was more than a year ago.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I feel like it might even get to that point where they announce it and then they cancel it. Like we've seen with a few things. Like Hogwarts.
So here's my idea.
Okay.
We're not getting PS4 version because as a marketing angle, the truly next-gen experience, the idea that you could not have this before now. GTA 6 is here to define the generation. In a generation so devoid of hallmark things to point to be like, that is what this is about. And you could not do this before now in gaming. Rockstar knows that comes. They know. They know that people will go nuts over that notion. They know people will lose their fucking minds.
If there is a single game franchise people will just buy a console for, it's GTA.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were sitting on the fence and you like GTA, you know you'll need to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Sony knows there's a good marketing angle to that. I know Rockstar knows that there's a good marketing angle to that.
And the console's already sold pretty well.
Oh, yeah. No, they sold well enough.
Especially by next year.
Uh-huh.
The promised time has come. You can, if you go to every store in your town, you'll probably find a PS5.
Yes, that's true.
You won't find any series consoles because they're still fucked on the supply angle.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this before. We have a viewer who works for Best Buy who just told me how many series consoles there were in their state. And it's not even the same number of digits as the Switch and PS5.
Yeah.
That and Sony's aiming to sell, 30 million PS5s this year? Yeah. So I think they can absolutely sell a game at critical mass PS5 exclusive.
Sony would pay them, be like, hey, drop the PS4 version.
Crank that shit through the roof. Here you go. You can use all of your work on the PS4 version to have a performance mode that performs really well. I saw someone in chat say something along the lines of, but Dan, this has to run on a Series S. Check this idea out. I think if there's one publisher who gets away with it not, it's fucking Rockstar going, no, or we'll drop your ass. Because the Xbox does not have enough sales. They already have a marketing deal with Sony. I think they could leverage it's a little too hard to get that to work on the Series S. How about fuck you?
Yeah, it's like we do all that work for a 10% market share at most.
God, the Series S was such a bad idea. How did they think that was a good idea? You're in a distant third place. Support 2 wildly different SKUs.
Yeah, if they had made a better design that was less about saving money and more about hitting a performance target, with the understanding of what it means to be next gen, the idea of ray tracing, these other ideas that just don't scale down well to that memory bandwidth and that memory capacity and these other things, maybe it would be fine.
Not only that, they're still selling it at a loss, and it's most of their user base. It's most Series owners have the Series S. Imagine the first time it will be worse than Redfall the first time a game skips Series S.
Yeah. Now that you're describing it like this, it really would just be the fucking Rorschach Dr. Manhattan moment at the end there, huh? As Phil Spencer can't abandon the Series S.
Yeah, I feel like if they have a policy like that, a company would sooner just be like, well, we're not shipping on Xbox.
Yeah.
Which were in the leaks. Was there an Xbox version?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Imagine a world where GTA 6 isn't on Xbox, just Grand Theft Auto Online. I just have a feeling that things within the next year will get very dire for Xbox.
Yeah.
More dire than they are already.
Yeah, I was going to say, this really could be the start of a terrifying downward swing for Xbox. Like, they said they're stuck in third place. And what they didn't understand when they said that is that third place is relative at a bulleted list sort of way, right? But where they are now is absolutely better than where they could be, and they might end up.
Yeah.
The recent events have actually really left open the door to that moment.
It's okay. That showcase next month. It's going to blow us away, and we're going to be all in.
Sony's probably next week going to set the tone for what they have to compete with, and that's absolutely terrifying. I would not want to work at Xbox.
No.
For the next 2 weeks.
They're going to show us an hour of Starfield, and it's going to look like a complete joke.
No, it'll look good to people who like Fallout. Oh, wait, not all of them. It'll look really good to some people who are interested in Starfield because it'll look better than it did last time, or I swear to God.
The character's heads better be on straight this time.
If they show a bunch of the spaceship stuff and they built that out enough, that will get people. People really want to customize and fly a spaceship around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
For the love of God, please don't let that have been some weird casualty of development.
Yeah.
Because the last time we saw Starfield was 2021?
That can't be right.
I don't think we saw it last year, did we? Was that when the first time they showed gameplay? I felt like they were like, don't worry, guys, we'll show gameplay soon for like a year.
Yeah, 2022 summer. So it will be exactly a year.
Okay. I was scared that we hadn't even seen that gameplay thing wasn't since 2021.
I really wish out of everything, this is unrelated, it really is, but I wish out of everything Avowed was real. That's my one wish for Xbox. I hope so. I really hope so. That would rule, man. Anyways, let's we got
Mortal Kombat 1, as in the digit 1, announced it's going to be out September 19th. What we called last week about the story, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I fucking forget.
It was one.
About Liu Kang being Raiden now and it being Mortal Kombat 1 from that angle is entirely true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, of course. There wasn't anywhere else to go.
Right.
Well, they could have done the first Mortal Kombat, or like the one with the great Kung Lao, the guy that Kung Lao's butthurt about not being. They could have done that.
Yeah.
It's an assist-based fighter now, I guess. You select a cameo with a K, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Fighter to help you, and that has a separate roster from the actual playable characters.
So we now have the equivalent of a Mii costume for Mortal Kombat. I'm horrified.
They announced like 18 different editions of the game with this endless web of monetization that makes me like, I'll come back 2 years after launch like I did with Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, because just like you'd expect from WB, $70.
$70 plus pre-order to get Shang Tsung, plus we're already talking about having an in-game paid currency, plus all this other shit. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'll come in. The only thing I really care about you for is your story mode, which I'm not paying $70 for. I'll see you in 2 years.
So the character Shang Tsung that they have not been able to do since they moved away from cartridges, that they might be able to do now with the power they can do with the power of the PS5.
Yeah.
Is pre-order only.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't get it. Yeah. Also, they showed Shang Tsung. Is that no longer the movie actor?
It seems like a design based on him that is not him.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't look like him anymore.
It looks inspired by the very same greatness, but no, that's not him.
Which is really upsetting because it was perfect. He was perfect last time.
Yeah, no, it was incredible. God, Mortal Kombat 11 was so good.
Yeah, so if you the 3 versions are standard, which is $70, Mortal Kombat 1 Premium, in which you get all standard content plus the combat pack, early access to the game.
I'm falling asleep.
1,250 dragon crystals. The combat pack will feature a Johnny Cage character skin that looks like Jean-Claude Van Damme, early access to the DLC characters, and 5 new assists.
I appreciate the joke here that Jean-Claude Van Damme, you know, because originally they were like trying to make a thing with Jean-Claude Van Damme and that fell through, and then they just went whatever, original IP.
Right.
That's funny, but that's weird.
Yeah, it's just like WB Games is getting more and more fucking overt with this oppressive monetization. It's like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna show up. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's frustrating that like these games are really cool. I don't know why you feel you need to strap all of this onto it. Really ruins the vibe.
Also, Street Fighter 6 and Tekken are this year. I'm sorry, you're like this is the first good-looking Street Fighter since 3.
Yeah.
Here's my problem though, okay? That story for 11 was so fucking good, and so is 9, that I'm now like, yeah, the gameplay's fucking dog shit, but I need to know.
Yeah, that
You'll still be able to know in 2 years, and also the story DLC will be out then.
right, because they're probably going to do something like Aftermath, where it's like, well, how about some more?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Although 11 Vanilla's ending felt completely satisfying. Like you didn't,
right, and that's the cool thing. Like 11's normal story has an ending,
right,
and it feels good. So it's kind of fucking crazy when I'm like, what the hell's the DLC from here? And it's like, oh, it's fucking insane.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, ooh. But
this
yeah,
isn't shipping on PS. This isn't shipping on PS4 or Xbox One, but they claim they're shipping on the Switch, which is almost certainly a cloud version.
Right, that's crazy to ship on the Switch.
They said who was developing it too. It was like a separate developer.
Okay, so it's probably some really, really banged down to fit in that square hole,
right?
Version,
which is crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. Story wise, I'm really sold on this.
Yeah, I'm really excited for a like a gameplay trailer.
Yeah,
because I realized the story trailer was cool, but it had to do that thing of reintroducing the universe, because this is the first time we've seen like a massive status quo change in what Mortal Kombat story is. So you don't get to just do the cool trailer that's Scorpion and Sub-Zero fighting to rap music like you got to do last time.
Right, yeah.
So I'm hoping that we get that. Maybe I'm just like, maybe they're like, we can't do that twice. Nobody wants to see that again. I'm like, no,
maybe
I'm here for that.
Maybe next week.
Right?
Maybe next week it'll be a gameplay thing.
Probably.
And finally, Lords of the Fallen launches October 23rd. It's also $70. I'm sorry. No.
Elden Ring was not $70. Your knockoff bad Dark Souls can't be 70. I'm sorry.
We still don't know when that Elden Ring DLC is popping up. I bet it's landing somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, like charging $7 for that was, I mean, that was an iffy proposition when it still had that extra V. Now that you've cut that out of the title, that's just, there's absolutely no way.
The gamers can see you've cut all the value there. Before it made sense, right? But now it's like, that's just not enough words. No one's going to pay $70 for that many words.
No.
We need more words. Just look at Zelda. The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. That's so many words.
Oh, yeah, one more thing on Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Smoke better be back. It's been too long.
Yeah.
They killed him off in Mortal Kombat 9, and we never got him playable again.
That's okay. It's a new universe.
Right?
It's all these teenagers joining truth. This is the generation, Bob. This is the generation we end Smoke for good.
It's true, Bob. We're ending Smoke for good. This is their new character, Vape. I don't know how they're going to spell it.
They already have that.
But...
That's Rain.
Well, yeah, it's literally just Rain, but he's named Vape now.
There's one minor goofy thing. Power Wash Simulator's getting SpongeBob DLC.
Dude, that's awesome. What?
I saw that. That's hilarious.
I need to see this. One moment.
There's a 10-second teaser, which is just like, okay, here's how fucking Bikini Bottom looks.
Oh no, is this how it happens? Is this how I buy it?
Does this game have VR support?
It should, but I don't think it does. At least on console. It probably does on PC. Let me put this picture up there. One moment.
But how do you use a power washer underwater?
Bob,
I know. I know.
If it wasn't SpongeBob, that would be a valid question.
I know that's half the jokes in SpongeBob. Apparently, I found out that from the stream.
It was a very informative stream. I want to thank our viewers and supporters for helping Bob get edified on SpongeBob. This is fucking me up. That's too funny. I want this. Damn it. Damn you, Power Wash Simulator. You're so strong. So strong. Anyway, think that's it for news.
Yeah, weird.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Dan.
What are you playing in the next week? Is it Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah, it's more Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh my god.
The game that's insanely huge.
Yeah.
Was seemingly infinite content.
I'm also going to be playing Tears of the Kingdom and also Pistol Whip, and I'm going to be committing body combat. But tomorrow... What? Is that not how you say that? I don't know the verbiage around the phrase body combat. Bob, can you what verb is correct for body combat?
I don't know.
I want somebody to yell that like the Mortal Kombat ad. Body combat. I needed like the kid in the streets. You know?
I don't understand why there's not a Mortal Kombat fitness game.
They're like, okay, now uppercut his head off. Yeah, good job.
Right?
Good job. Do you think the new one's going to have robots? Do you think they're going to have ancient robots? They're basically like golems or some sort of other artifice that a life has been put into, a spirit.
I mean, there'll probably be like either meat or what's that golem character? There is some actual golem character I can't remember the name of. I could see them coming back, but I don't think we're going to jump right into the robots. I feel like they're going to hold off on the robots for a little bit.
Tomorrow, Bob and I are playing Pikmin 1 as a part of Pik Month. The only theme month that's 30 minutes long, because that's how long it takes to beat every Pikmin game, right?
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I'm very excited for this. I actually really enjoyed Pikmin at launch. I was only sad because it was so short. For a kid who, people talk about, oh, the PS5 doesn't have games. That's not true. It can play last gen games. You know what can't? The GameCube. So I was a little starved for games at the time. So I never played another Pikmin game after that. So from there, it's all new experiences for me. But tomorrow, Bob gets to play Pikmin. He gets to learn. He gets to feel the joy. He gets to feel the magic.
It's a different game.
I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited for this. It's funny. I meant to delete that layer of the stream. I deleted the file, so it still did the same thing. Anyways, Dr. Aggro, what are you doing?
I was thinking I'd take up acrostic poetry.
Oh, cool.
Maybe do my nails. You get in there really good.
Yeah.
Push the cuticles back.
Yeah.
Melt the inside of my brain with an enormous amount of Tears of the Kingdom.
That seems great, man. I'm so happy for you. Chris, what do you got going on in the next week?
He just wants to
Tears
find his
of
friend.
the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom. Something will happen when Tears of the Kingdom is complete.
Cool. Yeah. I feel like I've spent years having to listen to people be like, oh man, streaming for a living and doing YouTube, that must be great. And I'm like, I don't sleep because I work at this job and do that. And it's been a really hard regimen. This week is the closest to what they imagined my life was like ever. Where it was just Tears of the Kingdom, eating well-prepared meals so I don't get fat, and exercise. And I'm looking forward to another week of that as soon as we're done with Pikmin. Anyways, that's going to do it for Big Think Dimension. See you all later. Goodbye. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. Big Think Dimension is only possible because of you and your support over at patreon.com/GB Podcast, where you can get access to all sorts of episodes of Blessed Blonde Tent Blub and Cursed Content Committee, as well as get to see the movie Isolation 119, a film about there is a stock video clip for everything a character could do in a story ever. That's patreon.com/GB Podcast.